was form. Okay. And Mr. Bathgate came on and
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta on the UI Media Network, a conscious way to start your day. Get ready to welcome the awesome duo, the uncensored and bubbly Shannon McVeigh, and the conscious voice of the South, Tim Ray, as they add a conscious twist to any and everything around you. So fasten your seatbelts, get ready for a ride around the Big Peach while we awaken Atlanta.
Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, your co-host, along with Oh no, it's not Shannon. Boy, Shannon, you sure got a nice little tan, you know?
Okay, buddy, already getting started.
Guys, I have my wonderful co-host, Tim Owens. He's not only a host on our network, but he's a comedian and a life coach and so much more. So, guys, and I have to say, I don't know where Shannon is, honestly. Anybody? She's AWOL. Anybody see Shannon?
You know what, Tim? Let me jump in for a second. You know what, folks? I was going to wait till we got on the air to say this to him. See, he thought I was going to say something before. I'm a little disappointed, man.
Oh, really?
You know what? Here it is. You invite me to come co-host the show, right?
Uh-huh.
Last week, Shannon and Amy, they got to talk about, the
sex
and having a good time and prom and making out and everything else, right? That's what they get, right? Then before then, you guys were talking about, genders and different things like that. Right. They got to have all the fun, man. You bring me on for cybersecurity. Come on, man. I get a text message last night at 12 o'clock. Here it is. I'm relaxing at a nice party. I'm in the hot tub with Miss Georgia and the runner-up, right? And then I need you to come in.
Cybersecurity.
Yeah, come in for cybersecurity. I came to see Shannon this morning. I thought Shannon was going to be here, man. It's the second time I come, no Shannon. I got to deal with you again.
Listen, man, I can't tell you the full truth because you're absolutely right, Tim. You're right on there. And I heard that Shannon's not here because she couldn't find an outfit. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah,
but
I believe that's true.
That might be right.
Yeah, she's like, I'm calling out. I can't find an outfit. But no, she's actually sick, guys. So send her your prayer. She got I think the flu or something bad like that. So normally she'd be here. But with that being said, I got Tim Owens. Come on, you not love him already?
Yeah, hope you feel better, Shannon.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
Yes. I'm sure she's not watching because she's sleeping. So, so Tim, this is wonderful, man. You're right. But I'll tell you, if anybody else going to do cybersecurity with and like our cell phones, what's going on, and add humor to this conversation, it would definitely be you.
I appreciate it,
because I don't know how really Shannon really understands security. She doesn't know she's security to her. I don't know what
you
that
know
means.
What? When I see you with a black eye, I'm telling you, I know it's Shannon and let you have it, boy.
All right. With that being said, guys, we have a wonderful show. We have a very special guest coming on. He's been here before, but a while ago, Pete Canavan, and he does about cybersecurity. And we're going to be getting into your cell phones, man. We're going to be talking about your cell phones. We're going to be talking about television, our security, CIA, who's listening, and so much more. What you could do to protect your individual rights, as well as just be aware of who's looking at you, what's going on, and what do you think right now? Before we get into that topic, I want to hear about you first, because if you guys haven't seen Tim Owens, he has his own show, and your show is One World, right?
That's correct.
And also, he's came from Midwest somewhere. Where'd you come from?
Yeah, man, Midwest. Illinois, then Iowa. So from Iowa to here.
All right.
I'm enjoying this, man. This winter, mild winter. I was shoveling snow. This time last year, I'm dealing with -3, -5 wind chill and shoveling snow. I'm so glad not to see no snow.
That brings back some memories,
Oh, my God, man. I'm
really
telling you, 2 things I hate, raking leaves and shoveling snow.
But, I tell you, I was so cool yesterday or the other day. I just love walking down. I was in Alpharetta, walking down and have the wind blowing on my face. I just man, I miss that. I miss this coldness because we've been on such hot weather lately. It's like this didn't seem normal winter, but I don't mind it. I like it. But tell me about you, man. Now, we had a conversation on air, right?
Absolutely.
And we got pretty deep. If you guys want to check that show out, go to Good Intention Show. And we were talking about you guys having some really a spiritual awakening this year, this last couple of years. Huh?
Absolutely. Yeah,
This is why I love you so much, because you go right into it, too.
This is the thing, but see, my bad. But the thing is, I'm kind of happy to be on the other side of that because, 2020 has been great so far, man. A lot of good things. Hey, even coming here today, this is it's changed. But I'm good, man. I mean, I'm feeling great. Just really looking forward to just keeping forward, man.
Well, hey, listen, that's what it's about. And we're going to be talking about a few things, but I do like to understand. I do understand how people for 2020 and everyone's like all this new, get up and go. We're going to change our world, change our life, and then all of a sudden things just start sliding back into the old ways.
Hey, so did you make any resolutions?
No.
None. You don't believe in
I
that one?
created intentions. I didn't make any resolutions.
Okay.
But what my word of the year is, if you haven't heard of it, it's simplify.
Simplify.
Yeah, that's my word. You have a word for the year?
Oh, no, I never think of a word for the year.
Well, think about it. Not right this second, but when it comes to you, man. So simplify. I'm simplifying my life because right now this is so chaotic out there. I mean, you want to do certain things and you can only do so much. And to the point where you're not really, I think, allowing yourself to enjoy while we're here in the first place. Right? It's that fun, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Have a lot of fun.
All right.
Not too much. I can go overboard a little bit.
Well, joy, I know, right? like today we're going to talk about, our pornography on our cell phones. And I think that's something that...
Well, no, that's on his cell phone.
And because the show's called today, what's the show called today, Otis?
What does your cell phone say about you?
What does your cell phone say about you? Because just imagine right now, if somebody, stole your cell phone and they had access to your cell phone.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, they would see my Care Bear screensaver. So, I mean, that may raise a few questions. Hey, man, I grew up in the 80s, and, man, I like Care Bears, Winnie the Pooh. I can't help it,
Oh, God, that says so much, Timo.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you be a little worried? What would happen if that occurred?
Actually, I wouldn't be too worried because I know how to make sure I don't have stuff on my phone.
Well, my pictures alone, I'm not that discriminating. My pictures alone, man, would just be I'd be thrown in jail probably for some reason,
I mean, I don't know if dressing up like Popeye for Halloween constitutes putting you in jail. I saw the pictures, Tim.
Hey, Otis, if somebody stole your phone, man, how much trouble you be in right now?
I would be in so much trouble. I mean, sometimes you sit back and you just look and it's like, oh my God. And it's not even really me. It's my friends, like the stuff that they send me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I save a lot of funny things for certain people. I'll send certain memes out, and then for certain people, different. I try to match my my audience. But it's, to me, what's worse than that is if they say you got your login. I mean, I have so many notes on there that just personal ideas. It's almost like a diary for me in a way.
And passcodes, people put the debit card information, stuff like that, PIN codes and stuff.
I'm clueless to all that stuff. My passwords are usually not very complicated,
Okay.
So, but you got like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, or like oink oink, stuff like that.
Oh my God! The hell did that come from?
It was. I saw
Care Bear, oink oink. Where the hell are we going with this? Like Farmer Den, and what's his name? Farmer John.
I guess. Look, I saw a guy, man. This is pretty funny. He had his wife grabbed his cell phone and ran in the bathroom with it, and this guy like tore down the door to get it. Like, so what did he have in his phone?
Oh, let me tell you something, man. We're going to be talking some articles on the good news today, and we have there's one app out there where your wife, whoever, can actually monitor if you're on pornography on your cell phone. Can you imagine that? Look, now you get serious, huh? No more Care Bear stuff, right? Look at that face change on him, man. He's like,
I'm good though with that one. Huh?
I know. Actually, there are people who are definitely addicted to pornography and technology in general. And trust me, I think pornography, as it could be exciting and tantalizing to whatever degree, but I think it takes away from your overall, not just your sex life, but your overall relationship with the person you love. Just because it's just, you're thinking about somebody else.
I think so, absolutely. Because some people, they get so like, we have to spice it up, we have to do, and it's like, man, that's fantasy, man. That's not your partner really.
Put a wig on. That's what I always say. Throw a different colored wig on, and then bam, let's go.
Tim, just a little too personal. Man. I mean, what you do in your spare time, man, is not for the Awaken Atlanta fans out here, man.
Hey, Tribe, you guys want to call in and tell us what your fantasies are? You're welcome to 678-495-4345, and also make sure you share this on Facebook right now. Get this out there because we have Timo in the house,
right,
and we're going to be talking about such crazy stuff today. What he's been up to, and who's watching you. See, there's another thing about this whole cybersecurity thing too. Is it's not just somebody just stole your cell phone or what you put on there, your pictures, whatever it may be, your passwords, but also it's now that they're actually watching and listening to us.
Agree.
Do you have that problem, or you see that? I mean, and you're like, it's almost like surreal. you're talking about something, I don't know, something out of the ordinary. It could be about, pink socks.
Yeah,
right?
like what happened to Alf?
Yeah, what happened to Alf? And all of a sudden, this example, this commercial comes on about watching Alf shows or whatever, and you're like, wow, is that a coincidence? Or raise your hand, guys, if this is happening to you every day now. You could be talking or watching something on your cell phone, and all of a sudden you're getting advertisements for the areas that you were either talking about or watching.
All the time. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's very real. I've been in the store like talking about NyQuil or something, and all of a sudden I get NyQuil commercials on my phone, on my Facebook feed. That's a very real thing.
Okay.
100%
So
happens to me too.
Can we spend a minute on this, Timo?
Have at it.
Because this is very alarming. Now, I mean, we'll find the humor in it, but let me tell you something. If this is true, and it is true, I mean, they even warn you when you sign up on whether it's Facebook or whatever on your cell phone use. You click on terms and you don't read it, they tell you in there this is what they can do. I mean, they literally tell you in the policies that we're going to be listening to you and watching you and using your information for whatever purposes we choose to. And we just go right through it and we sign up for it So is this like against our constitutional rights or something? I mean, there has to be some type of...
I think they take advantage, just like the credit card companies. They take advantage of you not reading.
Yeah,
it's the same way. I think. I mean, that's what I think. They take advantage because they know people aren't going to take the time to read all that stuff. Well, some people will, but the majority of people we just go through it, man. Because we want what we want.
But can you think right now about your conversation you have in your given day, in your privacy of your own home, like say you're, with your girl or you're doing whatever, and the whole time you have Alexa or you got your cell phone, whatever, and your computer, it's listening to your conversation throughout your day in your home, in your privacy of your own home. And then, I guess, and I want to know, and then we asked our cybersecurity guy, where does it go? Does it go to a mainframe somewhere and then gets processed by computers? Or is there actually a person listening in and saying, hey, man, let's send this to this guy? But something is going on with this information that they're hearing about us and then advertising us what we want. To me, that is like the most scariest, dangerous place to be right now.
Because some people make comments in the home and they talking about something else, and Alexa will say, "What was that?" And you're like, "Wait a minute." Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I know,
100%, man.
But Tim, I remember back in the day where you telling us that like in the movie theaters they used to flash pictures of Coke and popcorn like subliminally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now look at what they're doing. Like
it's not even subliminal. It's right in front of your face.
Yeah.
So it used to be like, you're right. They used to program us through, subliminally program us. But now it's just like, hey, we're just taking your information. We don't care. We don't care about your individual rights, and we're going to use that against you to make money, or to use it to share it, or to use it to, keep you under wraps.
That's true.
To me, this is scary as can be.
It is. Well, if you think about it, the lack of respect for the human intellect it's gone. Because you remember back when they used to make movies that they used to leave you a cliffhanger at the end, like you wouldn't know whether or not there was a sequel. But now they'll tell you there's going to be 5 movies. So you go into the movies knowing that the hero is going to survive, but they don't care that you know. It's like, whatever. You're going to buy it anyway.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, you're going to get it anyway. They don't care.
Yeah, because that's happening. So we're really we can't even, our intellect's so, I guess now dumbed down.
Yeah.
And we're so desensitized to it that we can't. We're not even caring if who's going to die.
And just think about it. They're good.
Who's going to do?
They're good enough to dupe you into a movie experience to where you actually go in there and watch this movie and put into your mind this person may not survive.
Do you think we're just dumber, or do you think that they're more clever in their manipulations?
The movie. Well, it's a few films that show that. One, I forget the name of it now. Luke Wilson, for the name of that movie. But it's about society. People get like dumber and dumber and dumber.
Oh, Idiocracy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a lot of that. Honestly, I think it's some of that, but it's a lack of respect for the human intellect.
I talk to my kids sometimes. I'm like, man, where are you getting your information from life, man? They can't bounce checkbooks. They can't write. They can't write in cursive. The computers they're literally digital dementia. They're playing video games all day long. Mm-hmm. And, thank you, technology, and I understand the benefits of it. But my God, we're creating zombies? Are we creating zombies out there? Am I exaggerating?
No, not at all. I mean, how many phone numbers can the average person remember nowadays?
Oh, God.
If they grab them and say, hey, read off, give me 20 numbers and I'll let you go.
Yeah. No way.
A lot of people would be stuck. Man.
Just think if one of my kids lost their cell phone, I don't know that they'd be able to call, let them call your father, would you? I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think they could, literally. That's scary, man.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so I think that's pretty important information, and we're going to get into the details of why and how that could happen, and also what you can do to protect yourselves. I think we're going to take a break here, and when we get back, we're going to be talking more with Tim O and about not just cybersecurity, but also about who are we how are we defining ourselves in tech with our technology and in media, and who are these people? I mean, people are killing themselves left and right these days.
Absolutely.
And no one's addressing this epidemic of suicide. And I think a lot of it's due to this social isolation.
100% agree,
on,
buddy.
You know?
100% agree.
Guys, we're here with Tim Owens, myself, Tim Ray, and we'll be right back, guys. Remember, more to come, and share this right now, not only on Facebook, but go to our uimediaapp.com. Have some fun with us.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation. We're on Binge Networks TV, and you can now watch UI Media Network's exclusive content on your TV screens. Look for UI TV on bingenetworks.tv on channel 12783.
Hi, I'm Tim Owens, guest co-hosting with Tim Ray. I'm filling in for the wonderful Shannon McVeigh. Hello, everyone. So we're back, Tim Ray.
Yes, we are. And Shannon's sleeping, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
She's just trying to avoid coming back to this network. I don't know why, Again, I think it's because she has no clothes to wear. No, but she really is sick, guys, and wish her good healthy, speedy recovery. So we're talking about the cybersecurity, but more so what's going on with our cell phones.
Yeah.
But I know Otis has a couple questions for us, so let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, these are a couple questions that have been written in.
Okay.
Number one, and I'm going to read them off, and then you guys can respond.
Okay.
So number one is, has your wife or girlfriend ever went through your phone?
Man.
Number two, how many pictures do you have in your phone? Then number three, how many contacts do you have in your phone? Have you ever met someone and went to put their number in your phone only to discover that you already had it?
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good. Okay, so the first one I'd have to say in reference to have they ever gone through their phone? Yes. And I'll tell you what, this is going to sound very hypocritical, but I mean, sometimes, you want to go through their phone for whatever reason, because, especially in new relationships, right? But I have learned the lesson the hard way is once you do that, you're open up to, your phone being, checked out too. And I'll tell you what,
I think I'm starting to sweat.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, because certain things can be misinterpreted, taken out of context. You may just be talking to somebody and maybe it's opposite sex, and the conversation can seem like you're flirting, right? Or you may be blatantly flirting, but nothing's ever going to come out of it. But then if your spouse or your girlfriend does that, then you get all upset and indignant. So, I mean, I just think it's the dangerous road to go down.
I agree. Absolutely. And plus, you never know. Like, some women or men, whatever, they may just be trying to pick you up or say something. Yeah. And you may not respond, but if you're a spouse or whoever, or a girlfriend, they see it, they may think that, well, why would they send that to you? Especially if they're the jealous type.
Yeah.
So that can happen as well. So that's kind of a tough one. I don't go on anybody's phone. I've had mine going through, but I don't go on any.
Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to make that a personal policy, because all it does is escalate. It's like a freaking war. It's an escalation. Well, if you're texting that person, I'm gonna go text this person. And then it's like, before you know it, you guys have just destroy whatever potential relationship you were creating in the first place.
Because you never know. I mean, you can assume. And I'm not a jealous guy, so I never really,
Well, I mean, I can be at times. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not, but at the same time, I have to kind of, because when you get emotionally involved with someone, I mean, just you're emotionally connected to that person, there's a certain level of betrayal, a certain level of feelings. It may not truly be betrayal, but that you are like, wow, man, I didn't see that one coming. And then all of a sudden your mind starts thinking of down the road, hey, what's going on,
I don't know, man. If you had some of the dating experiences I had, nothing would surprise you. I'm just being honest with you, man. Like, I've dated women in my life that I thought was as close as the Mother Teresa as you can get.
It turns out.
And then
the Britney Spears comes out.
Pulling all kinds of stuff, man. So now I don't put anything past anybody in a relationship. I never have. Yeah, I did once along, but ever since then, I never really have because I've been surprised, man. Like you never would have thought that this person would be this way or do whatever.
So I mean, what do you do? Because because you're right. I think sometimes like when this is where the balance, and we'll talk about relationships here for a second.
Okay.
'Cause I do think it's related to our phones as well, right? Because that's how we gather information more so than ever before. I think more people are less faithful because of these little gadgets than ever before. Because you didn't have this before. You just had, you maybe a phone call, that's about it. But we have such easy access to other people and influences and social media that it's hard to be in a growing unconscious relationship, I believe. So, like, what do you do when you're so laid back, like, I'm not jealous, whatever, then the person's going to drift away. And all of a sudden, before you know it, they're going out to lunch with somebody else and they're not having intentions on cheating on you or being with somebody else, but they just had that access to it because of the phone. And then before you know it, you don't have a girlfriend anymore. You're like, what's going on?
Hey, man, I look at it like this. And this may sound like a pig statement. But
hey, it's all men here today, by the way. There's no females here, man.
It's like a pig
disclaimer for the female.
Disclaimer.
But however, man, there's universities all over the United States that's putting out a fresh crop every August. So if you're a young guy that's worried about a woman leaving or cheating on you, man, don't worry about it because there's tons of other women coming along, especially if you're under the age of 30 and you're a male. You really don't. It's the same with women too. You really don't have to worry about whether or not you meet somebody else because there's tons of people in your age range. About the 10-year gap is pretty decent. From 21 to 30. So there's tons of dating, man. So a young person shouldn't have to freak out if they made it. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine, man.
Well, you see that? Yeah, there you go. A couple things here. Stacy says I could call you immediately. The number is burned in my brain. God says electric boxes in the houses too. Yes, it's very true. Robert says I do not have a safe place when the aspect of my personality ministered for me. Billy says, I'll never go through my wife's phone unless she's intentionally asked me to. Well, good for you, Billy, because I do think it's a slippery slope when you go down. When you actually go down to where you look at the phones, it's only going to cause problems. And certain things you just don't need to know. If you suspect your spouse cheating on you or your girlfriend or boyfriend cheating on you, I get it. That's one way to verify, but nevertheless, I just think you have to have some type of not blind trust, but just trust. And if you get screwed over, you get screwed over. They missed out on it,
Absolutely. It happens.
Right.
Everybody. Yeah. I just don't worry about it, to be honest. I really don't, man. I know it sounds like I'm just saying this to say it, but I just really don't worry about it. If she goes astray, she goes astray, man. Or he, whatever.
But how do you keep that with this technology competing against you? How do you keep that relationship going, man? I mean, because you're literally with whoever you're with, a girlfriend, if you're a boyfriend, everybody's on the freaking phone.
Yeah, that's true. Well, go ahead.
Now everybody knows what's
I got something. Tim, relationships is my thing, man. So we can go all day. Let's get with what's
if you look at the notes, hint, there's an actual fact in there that says, we have more dating apps now than ever, but we're the most single now. More people are single now than ever in the history of mankind.
Yeah, read some. What are some of the smartphones change our way of life now? But dating apps is just crazy. You can't just pick one person now, and just unless they're going to be like
Tim, you just can't pick one person, but yes.
Yeah. Which Tim now? Let's make sure we.
Yeah, Tim.
Tim Ray.
Tim Ray. There we go. Let's make sure we.
No, but I honestly, it is just so you have to really key in on what's. This is why I think it's so important. You got to key on what is most important qualities that you're looking for in somebody else, and then you stick to that and you hold on to that. Because when you deviate, you think the grass is greener, it always comes back to bite you in the butt. And I believe, and then but if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll be like a leaf in a river flowing wherever it takes you.
When it comes to the dating apps, I say we got a lot of them out there, Tinder, et cetera, stuff like that. But I believe that
Binder now, isn't it? Or was it Bender?
Yeah, I don't know.
Binder?
Binder?
Binger?
Yeah.
I'm going on a binge, guys. With
binge.
dating.
I'm looking for a binge date. Someone to go drinking all weekend with me. Let's go on a binge.
I know, yeah. Shannon she'll be happy for that one. That's a new app for her.
But the thing is, I think that you do have to know what you want, man. But with the app, some people just don't. It's like a buffet to a lot of people. Yeah. They just keep at it, man, until their stomach hurt.
You can say something, Wade?
Yeah, that reminds me, Tim. Tim O, is that people don't have values. I feel like people don't have values today because that's exactly what you said. People don't know what they want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you see, like Stacey says, that's because dating apps are more about hookups than dating. God, That's what it's coming down to. Just meaningless
see that.
sex. Meaningless sex, what it's coming down to, because it's another distraction, and we lose that whole level of intimacy. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm so depressed about. I don't like to date. I hate dating just for that reason alone. You got to start all over again. You got to tell about who you are, and you go through these routines. Why can't you just just right from the beginning, just jump right into, hey, this is how I'm feeling.
Because Tim, I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
see, dating can be fun, like if you do it right.
Yeah.
When people date, especially when people are trying to get you to, basically it's like a selection process.
Yeah.
It's like an interview. Women, you go out, they want to make your relationship with you, whatever. So a lot of people are on their best behavior. So they can be a lot of fun during the dating process. So let's say if you're dating, people you're dating around, they're going to be fun. So that's why some people are addicted to dating. They don't want, because the relationship, once they kind of stop, now now the fun stuff is gone.
It's like they're getting serious now.
Yeah,
Now
now it's
all the
not-
baggage and all the negative
the
programming
issues
coming
that
in.
come out, whatever. So we need to do this, we got to do that. We
You
need
get
to be
divorced.
Yeah, I mean, we need to be
You
this
break
way.
up.
Yeah. So that's why some people don't like to settle down, man. They enjoy the dating process.
God, and now it's more than ever before. People in the 40s and 50s and 60s are jumping around, and there's no, and it's like, where is the stability?
Yeah, well, I
Where
think
is the
Viagra might
predictability?
have something to do with that.
The blue pill, right?
Yeah, jumping around and whatnot. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got you.
But I don't know what the solution is. I can just tell you that definitely it's easy now more than ever before to not be serious in a relationship and any excuse to go on to something
But
else.
one good thing though,
Yeah.
with technology and phones,
Yeah.
I think it helps long distance relationships.
They call that, living apart together, lat relationships. I guess it would, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because now you could Zoom in each other, you could FaceTime each other, you could, have your own intimacy at nighttime with each other on the cell phone.
Absolutely.
And we're so conditioned now because of the socialization isolation with the cell phones and social media that we accept that as our reality. That you don't have to physically be here, but we could do things while we're not really here.
Yeah. I mean, I think it helps, man.
Why not go into the whole aspect of the AI then? Just get yourself a robot who looks like your girlfriend or boyfriend, and then when they're not there, and then when they're there, you get the real
Tim,
thing.
again with the personal stuff, man. I mean, come on, buddy.
I'm a solution man. I'm just trying to find solutions for everyone in this new technology.
Come on, man. Do we got to bring a couch and you lay down and we can kind of go through this whole, we can work through this thing or what, man? I mean, come on, man.
Jeez, oh my God, that's so funny. So what do you think? What else you got on that thing?
No, but we got a lot of good things here,
Okay.
man. Let's talk about
Informed shopping. That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because right now, I'm new to the game here. Like I'm now starting to do Amazon order. They get there within a day or two. To me, that sold me. And I just have to take the time to like scroll through things and figure out how to search for certain things. But I hate to go out shopping, so why not just shop online?
Ooh, have you seen the inside of an Amazon plant?
No.
Ooh, man.
What's it like?
Brutal.
Is
The way
it
they
really?
treat people. Oh my God, it's one of the worst places. Well, I mean, I'm not bashing Amazon. I don't know if they're a sponsor or not, but
No.
okay, I don't want to lose a sponsor. here, man.
Nobody on the Luciferian agenda wants to sponsor us. so.
Okay, I understand, but no, it's no. Amazon is a horrible place. I know people that work there, man. They say it's awful.
Because they have to like live there, and they got to just.
I mean, and they crack the whip brakes. I mean, they run them. It's like the buzzer rings, and it's like it's.
part of
it's
me,
just
part of me
work.
feels so bad for that situation. And then part of me is like, well, I get my stuff in 2 days.
Yeah.
So.
But the working conditions are awful.
But that's the flip side to the informed shopping. It's like, you review and you Google search whatever product you want. But the flip side is that the brick and mortar stores are going away because everybody wants to do online
That's true.
shopping.
That's true. And you can't trust all the reviews though, man. Because I actually bought a couple of motorbikes a few years ago for my son, and they were great. Like we rode those things for 2 summers, not an issue, nothing. We looked at the reviews. People were saying stuff like those things are only good to roll down a hill and stuff like that, and run them in front of a train. So you can't always trust because some people are so negative that they're gonna bash everything. They're not gonna. So you gotta see for yourself, man. So I don't trust all reviews neither. So
Yeah, because you really do have to weed through it because you just don't know. There's fake reviews, And,
yeah.
yeah. You just never know. We had what did Stacy say there? Can you read that? I don't know if you read it.
Stacy, okay. Oh, that's because dating apps are more hookups than dating.
Stacy says
Yeah.
here. She says Tim again with the
Says
sex
again.
robots. I'm
That's
just
funny.
saying that's our reality we're going into, and
I see that. Right.
and I think that's something that we need to. I think that's something that we need to look at seriously. Avoid going down because I think we're losing our humanity experience here. We literally are losing our humanities experience based on technology. And on top of that, you're not alone, apparently. They're listening to what you're doing, even when you're home alone. That, to me, that is something that has to be. How can we, as a country that was built on privacy, rights, freedom of your individual rights, which includes all of the above, how can we been so desensitized to that we went down this road, you know?
Yeah, it's awful, man. Like even with with phones and directions.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in high school, we used maps.
Right.
Like we literally knew how to read maps. We went cross country.
I was
man.
always so bad at that, but I was forced to learn how not to get lost.
But it was fun though, man.
Yeah.
You and 3 friends in the summer,
Yeah.
we would go out to like Minnesota, Wisconsin. We would take maps and find our way around. It was like
Right.
an adventure, man. Nowadays, kids kind of miss out on that. So
Well, more maps to come. And can we bring maps back? Do we want to bring maps back? I don't know. I think GPS is something that's really saved me. But guys, we got one last break here before the top of the hour, and then we're gonna be getting into more of Tribe Time. So if you guys want to share some of your stories of what you've been talking about, and then what pops up and appears on your phone, give us a call 678-495-4345, and more of Tim O and his stories to come. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Download the UI Media Smart app at uimediaapp.com to watch and listen to all your favorite shows anytime from anywhere in the world. Shows that enrich, entertain, educate, and feeds the conscious cells throughout your body. We bring you never heard before topics in health, inspiration, music, psychics, numerology, current affairs, controversies, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.uimediaapp.com and start raising your frequency now.
It's that time again. Time to have fun, play games, and talk to your tribe. Whether you want to talk to a friend, need advice, or just want to connect, we got you. So what are you waiting for? It's time to win cool prizes. Pick up that phone and give us a call at 678-495-4345. Get ready to raise your vibe. It's Tribe Time.
All right, welcome back to the number one conscious media, Awaken Atlanta in the world, and morning show. So, Timo, this is great having you on board here because, one, I think you're the funniest guy I know, and two, you really are a thinker. And most people out there, we just let things go, and we get subjected to what's being thrown at us. We're not even aware of it. We just go along with the program, right?
absolutely, 100%, man. I like to see the wolf in the sheep's clothing. I mean, I'm aware, man.
Are we gonna talk conspiracies?
Oh man, get that snake, get that snake oil away from me, sir.
So let me ask you a question: Is this a conspiracy with the phones listening to us and watching us, and our computers that are watching us? Is it a conspiracy if they're telling us that this is what they're doing? I don't think so. I think it's a reality. What do you think? What do you think, Otis?
Well, you guys mentioned the Google Maps and the Google Waze.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is now that, you get directions through your phone, but now they can track your phone. They can actually look and see everywhere that you've been now just by looking at your phone.
You know, and what this is what worries me. But say you become a public figure at some point, right? For whatever reason, whether it's through the internet or you go to join the local government, and they've been tracking you for say decades now. And they say, well, why did you go to that? Why did you go to that? That's very special place, that strip club down the road there, whatever it may be, or why did you go to so and so's home, whatever? I mean, they literally can use that information against you. And who has this information?
Or that massage parlor that Robert Kraft went to.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And stuff get leaked out, especially if you're a public figure. So it's almost like it's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much access to your private life.
I think you guys may have given me a new business idea. let me collect what I can, and hey, how much is this worth, sir? This envelope.
Well, it brings PI a whole nother level. I mean, you don't have to follow anybody around. You just track them on the cell phone where they've been. And that's probably the best way. I mean, how about divorces and court cases now? You could just use your cell phones to gather information for what you want to experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, think about that for how scary that could be.
Yeah, and plus you got to look at even the dating side. You got people that stalk exes and different things like that.
Oh
and,
yeah.
you know,
You ever have an ex stalk you?
Oh yeah, I had a couple crazy girls, man. Oh my god, oh my god.
Do tell, Tim.
Oh
Do
man,
tell. Come on.
some crazy stories coming to my house. You know, knocking on the door and crying and all sorts of crazy stuff. And then I was like, okay, what's wrong? And then as soon as I say, you know what, it just didn't work out. I don't want to try it again. Then they flip out. And I had one lady. She came. I opened the door. And I had like my water cooler.
First mistake.
I mean, but I was trying to be nice. See, I'm the type of person, if we have a bad breakup.
All Tims are nice guys.
Yeah, if we have a bad breakup, I mean, I'm going to talk, you know, I don't mind talking you through. Hey, this is what happened, whatever. I just kicked over my water cooler and all kinds of stuff. I said, oh, no, you got to go. I can't take this anymore.
But high heels coming out.
But you know what was funny, though? I should have done a little bit of background because she was this way with like 3 other guys before. See,
oh, wow.
This came out later because it got pretty ugly there for a minute. And I found out later that was her personality. So, yeah, experience that.
Yeah, you know,
it's not fun, man.
I tell my boys, listen, you got to look at the hot crazy matrix scale and see where your girl falls on the scale. And if she's above that 7 line, crazy, and or in the dating zone, but not in the wife zone, remember that anything potentially could happen. All right.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that? You think all girls are crazy? At least 4 crazy?
No.
All right.
No, I won't. No, I'm not trying to get beat up out here, man. Nah, actually, no, I don't believe that. Honestly, if I had to
girls,
give
what do you think? You think you're at least 4 crazy out there? Let us know if you believe that to be true. The honest ones, call in and let us know if that's really true or not.
Nah, I don't think. Honestly, if I had to say, I think that some people actually don't recover from things they went through in past relationships, and I think it kind of carries over. So if they kind of take care of the issues of what happened, because some guys are horrible to women and vice versa, but some women get kind of scarred, man. So it kind of makes them a little mean. Well, I can say mean a little bit.
One thing I think probably gets misinterpreted as crazy, and this is what I think is actually probably why the feminine energy is so much more, I don't say superior, but much more effective in reference to a personal growth, is that you're more emotional, and when you're more emotional, and if you don't have the emotional guidance ability to guide your emotions and to understand them. It could be crazy train. You get on this emotional crazy train, impulsive, and you just go all the 1,000 different directions. Sure. But to have that skill set to be emotional, to be in contact and connection with your heart and everything, I think is critical. It's just that you have to learn how to manage it. And if you don't know how to manage it, that's where I think the crazy stuff comes in. With men, we're just, we're not as emotionally connected to our feminine energy for the most part. I mean, we think we're getting there, but we don't have that skill set to be emotional, so we don't learn that.
Yeah, well, it's take a lot more for me to get in tune with that, man. I still arm wrestle bears, so it's gonna take a minute.
Your feminine side is gonna take a minute to come out.
But no, and honestly, let me put on the life coach New Thought hat real quick and just be real serious about it. Like when it come to like emotional, when it come to relationships, especially people getting a little, you say crazy, but it really boils down to them being able to kind of hone in and really realize what sparked them to behave that way. And once they kind of understand that a little bit, you can kind of talk them down off the ledge, and they'll be okay.
Yeah, Stacey says it's unfair that the redheads are put on the same level as strippers on that scale.
That's funny. It's funny, man.
Stacey, you're the only redhead I know that is brilliant and has perfect insight. So, just kidding, all my other redhead friends. Okay, so I think there is something about the technology, and because I think men are more drawn to technology, would you say, than women?
Yeah, I think so. I always have been.
But see, I think it's because of this rational thought process where that they're more inclined to go that direction because of the masculine energy of just in whatever that may be, good in math, whatever the case may be. However, I think we're missing the whole point of being human because we need that feminine energy to be able to look at the emotional aspect of who we truly are. I think our emotions are everything, in my opinion.
But see, most guys do stuff to try to impress people.
Yeah.
So if some new gadget comes out, exactly. So they want to impress a girl. So they'll learn about this just to say, hey, look what I know, or whatever. That's a lot of that too. So.
All right. So, I mean, what do you do? I mean, God, I just wish it was more of a balance there. But I think the technology here and what's going on with not only our cell phones defining us, I think we lose our connection to people. So what else can cell phones how do they change our ways?
Music. It has changed music, man.
In what way, though? What's your opinion?
I mean, people don't really buy CDs anymore.
You're right.
That's the flip side.
Long gone, aren't they?
And the music industry is basically down. The only way you make money in the music industry is by doing shows and touring.
Yeah.
Really? Like how they used to, just by playing the radio?
CD sales.
Yeah.
CD album sales. But now it's all streaming, and the streaming numbers are a lot harder not only to verify and collect on, but there's no physical product anymore. Like we used to have CDs or records or cassettes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And that was the music industry's way to get their hand back in the pot by streaming services. So let's say if you're a band, the Tim Ray band, they could put your music on the streaming service and make people pay for your music, but before you can be able to kind of get it out, so that's
See, now
kind of
now
lost
they're
money.
much more stricter than ever before in reference to your music, to your what you're playing. I mean, look at Facebook alone. How many times we get strikes because something playing something that and their own creators of the music here on the network, they can't even play it on our network, and they're the ones who wrote the music. It's getting to the point where it's getting nuts out there. But what do you do? Vinyl is back in a big way. That's true. My son has 33 record players. And, I mean, that's just weird.
Well, the hipsters, you got to thank for that, man. They for real. I mean, it's just a real thing. Yeah, that whole hipster movement is kind of what bring it back to vinyl and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Well, unbelievable. So, I don't know. What's your take when you're with a girl and they're on the phone and a dating or whatever it may be, and the phone usage? Do you ever say, "Listen, can you put the phone down for a minute and have a conversation with me"?
No, I've never.
You think it's rude to say that to a girl you just met, or
It can be. I mean, it can be. Me, I've never really had a problem. Tim, I'm pretty easygoing, man. Like I don't really make a big deal out of much.
So
of anything.
she's on the phone. Oh, yeah, I'm listening to what you're saying. Well, let me just get this one text back. Hold on. All right, okay. Now, what were you saying now?
Oh yeah. I mean, if she's that annoying, then we're not going out again. Like that's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get into
What if she's
debate with
busy? What if she's like a lawyer and has to respond to things?
Oh, I mean, if she's a lawyer, I mean, how much? What are you talking about, lawyer?
She gets a pass.
Yeah,
how much money she makes?
I might have to deal with it a little bit, Like, are we still going to,
Oh, take your time. Get that email.
Oh yeah, okay. So was that Puerto Rico in July? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Who was that? OJ again?
Again.
Yeah, get some of this pension money you got there.
Oh,
so
God.
we're good to go, man.
And how about ways of making money now has changed too because of this cell phone, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, think of all the different ideas. What are you gonna say, Otis?
No, I was gonna say, this is courtesy of LaShawn, but we were talking about the Cash App, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like basically, say you're downtown somewhere and somebody's like, "Hey Tim, can I borrow your phone real quick? I just need to make a phone call." They'll go to your Cash App you them some money, and there's nothing you can do about it because technically you gave them your phone.
And your Cash App saved
Yeah,
and
it's all
everything.
saved. Everything
yeah.
is saved in your phone.
Wow.
Well, that's how we pay for things now.
Huh.
Wow, man, they could really. That's crazy. And now, so if somebody stole your phone and has your password, they could just Cash App themselves to death, right?
Yeah, well, not even that. Just say you're downtown and it's a game or something, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, I need to call like Uber. I need to whatever." And you get on your phone and they Cash App themselves. There's nothing you can do about it.
Or you show somebody, hey, take a look at my pictures, and they're taking their time on your
Yeah.
pictures, and they're Cash Apping themselves. So wow, boy, that's
Hey,
terrible.
Tim Ray, I hate to say this, man, but you don't leave your phone around me, man, because
Barely so,
Yeah, but I really do.
No, I'm joking.
I really do feel like the phones are kind of going to be the new
Get my
wallets.
phone over here. While you watch him.
But people are going to, instead of stealing wallets, they're going to steal your phone. And just, and we're going to talk about this article coming up with Pete Canavan. But, there's governments, the scam is like they'll hack a local government and hold them at ransom for cryptocurrency. You can't track cryptocurrency. So imagine if somebody said, okay, you're cheating on your wife. I'm going to hack your phone, look at your pictures and everything. You got to pay me a ransom or blackmail, or else I'm telling your wife, and I'm going to pay me through the cryptocurrency, and you can't track that.
I mean, what kind of characters you guys hanging out with, man? I mean, I don't think I'd ever attract something like that in my life. I mean, my God. But I guess they're out there,
Yeah, absolutely.
Nando says about the relationships, I tell them that when you're with a girl, I tell them I wanted to eat alone, I would not pick you up. If I wanted to eat alone, I would not pick you. Good
That's
for you,
funny.
Nando. That's exactly what you have to say. You have to speak up. I do that with my kids or when their friends come out and we're at dinner and I'm paying for it. I'm like, collect your phones. Put your phones up. No one's touching your phones, man, unless you're paying for the meal. All right?
Wow.
So we're going to hold off on a break here because I wanted to continue with the conversation and get some emails, which are great. But tell me about your situation, Tim. How do you monitor, limit your access to your screen time?
Well,
And I'll tell you what I'm doing with my son.
are you
I think
saying
you'll
this
like
as
it.
far as how much I'm on my phone?
Yeah.
Well, see,
They have you can see him. You can just check it. It tells you how many on the average you're on.
okay.
you know?
Yeah, I never look at that
Really?
because I'm not really on
Pull
the
it
phone
right now. See what the freaking
Oh,
you
no,
are.
I'm no. But no, honestly, I don't.
10 hours a day, man.
No,
He's on
no,
that
no.
phone.
No, actually,
What?
not really. Because I mean, I like to watch movies and I listen to music, a
Yeah.
lot. So I cut down from the phone. I mean, I play trombone too, so I practice
No
that.
way.
Yeah, so
You
I
play
kind of
trombone?
So I kind of practice that too.
You ever
so,
go like play at a local band or like
no,
blues
no,
bar?
no.
or something?
No.
Oh, man.
That's kind of a thing. To me, it's kind of relaxing. So I'm not always on the phone, and I write.
Right.
I do other things to keep me off the phone.
Gotcha.
So I get on the phone. I mean, social media. I check things, but I don't post like constantly. I could do more, especially with with what I do and everything. But I'm just not addicted to my phone, man. I can actually put it down. I'll make my kids put it down.
I listen, and I'll complain about it, but I do find myself addicted to it. But although I'm much better now with social media this new year. However, my son is just totally lost, right, on this, and I put him on this. He put himself on this 90-day program across the board. And first three things he has to do is reduce his screen time.
Okay.
And it's not just screen time with the cell phone, but screen time with the cell phone, screen time with his video games, and screen time with TV. Because usually if you cut one out, you go to the other. You more TV.
Yeah.
You cut out TV, you go to the screen. You go to the cell phone. More cell phone, you go to the video games.
Yeah.
But yet he has a plan to cut all three out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that he does every morning now is he texts me or he takes a picture of his screen time for the day before. So even though, it's going like for 4 hours, down to 2 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever it may be, but he's now conscientious about it. Although he's not very managing it very well.
Okay.
But I think that's something, if somebody wants to be held accountable, and if you have a serious problem out there with your cell phone usage, just find an accountability partner and text them every day what your usage is, because it's one thing lying to yourself, it's another thing lying to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I
So,
think it's a good way to do it.
Is that Netflix included or not? No, I'm just thinking. I mean, see, because that count with the because some people spend a lot of time watching Netflix.
Netflix. Well, this is what I say. I tell them the screen time has to be positive versus negative screen time. Positive screen time is anything that's going to be inspiring you with your goals in your life to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. Negative screen time is something that's distracting you from your goals in your life of accomplishing something that you want to accomplish.
That's pretty good, man. I like that.
So if you're on there learning how to cook and you're watching videos for 3 hours how to cook, or you're learning how to work out better, or you're learning how to get a job, whatever it may be, that's positive screen time. Yeah. If you're just going to sit there and watch a movie for 2-3 hours, I get it. Maybe you're going to be talking about it with your work or something like that. But if it's going to be too much, if it's going to be that much take you away from your life experience, then I say don't do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
For kids,
Yeah.
For adults, you got to have your movie time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So how old you think is too? Well, how young is too young to have a phone?
Okay, I think these 2-year-olds getting phones is freaking not only is it terrible because of the screen time and all that, but I think what's terrible is that it's all about the EMFs now. Electromagnetic frequencies are killing kids and adults through this radiation process. So I think they should, when they become teenagers, maybe 14, 15, 16, they should get a cell phone then.
Okay. Yeah,
That's just my opinion. And that's when my kids got it, but I would do, if I didn't knew more kids, I'd make sure of that.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So let's read some emails.
Okay. This one we going with this one here?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So this email is to Shannon, but Shannon's not here, so we're gonna take care of it. How about it?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Do it in your most graspiest male voice you can.
Come on, man.
Impression of Shannon.
Oh no. I can't do that. Ooh, boy, she gonna punch you in both of your ass, man.
But she can't touch me right now because I'm here. She's not.
Okay. So what's up, Tim? What's up, Shannon? My name is Mark, and I'm writing in from Orlando, Florida. I want to get the tribe's opinion. I travel a lot for business, and I FaceTime with my girlfriend. And lately, I've been noticing that when we FaceTime, she checks out my hotel room to make sure I don't have another woman in there. Okay. She'll be like, show me your hotel room. And I'm like, if you've seen one hotel, you've seen them all. Pretty good, pretty slick guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just seeing how we are living in a culture now where she has to prove to everyone, with her phone. If you're late for work, stuck in traffic, you have to take a picture of traffic, show your boss. Wow. I was at a poker game, and my buddy took a picture of us playing poker. So he took his wife, needed to indeed play. He was indeed playing poker. It was just me.
Right.
It's crazy, man. So, So get hey Timo and okay. Hey Tim and Timo. This is Brandon again from West Virginia. Wow, we got two.
Well, hold on.
two
Before
here.
Yeah, hold on. So,
you
let's
respond to that.
All right, so
Got you. I'm sorry about it. I was going on. I'm sorry.
That's something that's really fascinating because I see that now too. Because sometimes I had girlfriends who would just like video chat you, and you're thinking, oh my God, isn't it nice they want to video chat me? But is that really the reason they're video chatting you at that moment in time?
Yeah.
Are they like, what's going on? Who's that in the background over there?
Absolutely.
And so that's happening more so than ever before.
It is. It is.
But which is back tying into, I believe, that the cell phone, this technology and access to being involved with other people is so much more common that people are becoming more paranoid and jealous.
Yeah.
And what do you do? I mean, I just think it's I don't know if there's a solution, man.
You know what? I actually had experience with this.
Yeah.
I dated a girl once, and she was like, now I don't take selfies, man. That's really, I've maybe taken 2 or 3. That's not my thing, though. When I say I don't take them, I don't do that all the time.
Yeah.
So very rarely will I do like a selfie in the mirror or whatever. So anyhow, I took one, maybe 2 or 3. So this lady, we went out one time. She was like, hey, a couple days later, hey, send me a selfie. I'm like, I don't really do selfies like that. And she got mad, like, what do you mean you won't send me a selfie picture? Like, well, where are you at? You're somewhere you're not supposed to. She threw a whole big old fit, And I explained to her, I said, listen, man, you have to understand that anybody has the right to tell you if they don't like to do something or if they don't want to do something.
Right.
You cannot force her jealousy and insecurity. And that was the end of that, because I'm like, it wasn't the point where you could have just took a picture if you weren't doing anything. It was the fact that I wouldn't even set that pattern of behavior. I wouldn't even start a relationship with anybody who acts like that, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to.
Well, I never thought of doing that, and then all of a sudden, that happens. Something sounds very suspicious on the phone. You're talking to him, and you're like, well, FaceTime me. Let me see what you're talking about.
God,
and then
man.
all of a sudden, before you know it, you have this insecurity, jealous, and you're questioning each other. No. And I'm telling you what, I fell into that trap before, and it is not good. You don't feel good about anything at the end. You feel dirty. And it's just like, man, is this what it's boiled down to? Yeah. That we just have to play this game that goes on, and I don't like it either, man.
No,
but I don't know. I think the technology is so available that it's. How do you even pull out of that?
Just don't get into it. Listen, man. Honestly, I feel like
good email.
If people would just actually stop that garbage, and just have a real organic relationship without all of that extra stuff, they'll see how much easier it is and less stress. All that does is add stress. It does, man. Like, I think
it destroys the relationship. It adds stress, and it takes away the uniqueness of the relationship. And I guess you almost have to have that agreement up front.
Yeah.
Like when you first start listening, it's like when you do your knockout questions when you first meet somebody. Like, how do you raise your kids and things like that. You're like, all right, how do you feel about sharing your access to using technology against the other person in a relationship? You're like, what? What are you talking about? But you know what? We'll get it up front, because then at that point you establish that, if you feel like I'm not being faithful on you, or you can use technology against me,
Have you ever dated a lady with some bad kids?
Oh God,
they were just unruly.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I would never say that to him, but unless it was just so blatant. But
oh man,
it was just like, oh my God, But you don't want to like take it on the kids. You just want to take it out on the mother.
But was that the deal breaker? Because I've had this debate with people. Like, was that the deal breaker for you?
In the past, there's been one that was a deal breaker for me. That's it. And if the person was willing to actually make some real changes for the betterment of the children, I would have probably stayed.
Well, I dated a lady with a 5-year-old. He was little Hannibal Lecter, and I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating, man. Like literally, his kid was a monster, man.
Really?
Oh my God, man! I'm on my laptop one day. He ran in the room and started just playing the piano.
And she doesn't let you discipline him either.
Now I was like, hey, what are you doing? He was out of control, man. Like out of control, man. Yeah, like
and she wouldn't let you discipline him.
No,
that's you're bringing a guy into your life with your child. You're gonna have to share discipline.
Look,
I mean, I get it. You don't want them perhaps, until you get comfortable with them. But then don't introduce them to the children.
Man.
Then, I guess.
This kid was, listen, Tim. I'm trying to tell you, all the cushions off the couch. Like, and I know we're going, but I got to tell this. Like, you remember the game, the Guitar Hero game, where everybody was playing it.
Yeah.
His 8-year-old brother was in the room playing the video game. He wanted to play Guitar Hero. He took the guitar and come up behind his brother and whacked him in the. I said, listen, man,
God.
This kid, 5 years old, man, out of control.
Oh, my
I said,
God.
no, I cannot deal with this, man. Yeah, that was a deal breaker.
Wow. Yeah. Mine wasn't that bad, but I don't know how you. And then you couldn't do anything about it. It's like timeout's not working, guys. This is where you got to get the 5-way leather restraints or something. You know,
you got to call the
and,
father.
and the Thorazine, you got to load them up on them. Sorry, he's just gonna have to be kept away for a little while.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I can deal with it,
So
man.
I don't know if we answered your question there, but I would say
I think we did.
establish it right in the beginning that you're not going to use the cell phones
Yep.
or the technology to spy on the relationship.
Bingo.
And I think and you try your best to stay tuned. To
Don't tolerate it. Don't start it in the beginning.
All right,
I
there
think
you
we
go.
nailed it.
All right.
You get the next one here?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, the next question is, hey, Tim Ray and Tim O. This is Brandon again from West Virginia. I wrote in last week for the Sex Positive show with Shannon and Amy Lau, but I got to be honest, I really didn't get my question answered. Maybe now that there are two guys, I'll get an honest answer. I wanted to
Leave
know.
it to us, yeah.
I wanted to know what is considered a high number for guys. I'm 36 and I'm around
75.
I'm around 75ish. My fiance thought that was high and broke up with me. What do you fellas think?
The girls would never tell their numbers, and I even called them up. Otis, you were there. I called them up and I said, "Tell me your numbers," and they don't. I think when you start going into double digits, people start getting a little bit concerned and worried. If you say it's under 10, I think people just psychologically, can handle that. But for guys, guys are going to have higher numbers. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. Most guys, and maybe not all. And then if you don't want a guy with high numbers, then you're going to have that beta male out there, I guess, and that you're going to be able to control and do what you want with, right? But that may be your gig. I don't know.
So is the alpha male considered for high numbers?
I think most likely alpha males are going to have higher numbers. I bet you there is a correlation. I don't know any statistics or facts on it, but I bet there is a correlation between higher numbers of people you've been with, sexually, versus whether someone's more alpha or beta. I mean, it doesn't make sense, Wahid. I mean, am I being crazy here?
No, it makes sense to me. I
Right.
think so.
What do you think? You think that's part of it?
Man, this is one of
So,
the questions that
Tim's number is triple digits. Tim has triple digit numbers, man. Now, when you get triple digit numbers, now you're talking about
that's
I think you're talking about
that's Tim Ray.
Yeah, right. I think you're talking about triple digit numbers. I think you're talking about sex addictions and things like
I
that.
think
but-
so. That's like NBA players and and stuff like that. But some.
Well, hold up, so are NBA players sex addicts or are professional athletes sex addicts?
Well, I think the two things, and I don't say they're sex addicts. I think that's probably unfair to categorize that. I think when people are have access to multiple people, multiple women, whether women with men or men with women, when people have access because of their celebrity status or because of their what they're doing in their job, whatever it may be, I think at that point you're more likely to have higher numbers, and I don't think you should judge people by that. I really don't.
I don't think, because you got to look at it like this, man. We're all adults. There's one lady I saw was pretty funny that she was talking. It was actually a relationship deal, and somebody asked her that question, her numbers, and she just got on the microphone and said, "I've lived." That was it. That was her answer. Like, I've lived. Like,
Billy
she
said-
didn't even get into it.
Billy says that's high. That's a high. That's a high number. Because Billy also says, don't give out the numbers. Billy, we got to keep them. We got to keep them male. But I think when you're in double digits to triple digits, I think a lot of men, especially back in the day, I think there's less sex going on today, unfortunately, but fortunately too at the same time than ever before. But I think you're looking at anywhere from 25 to then C notes or higher. Then I think that's going to be probably a range of where
I
men
think
can fall in.
honestly, the Brandon, I don't think it matters, man. I never asked. a woman
Tim must
that.
have some high numbers there.
No, seriously though, like I've never asked a lady that question because I never want to know. Like I never want. Is there?
You don't
I
think
never,
that's inevitable? That's going to come up in conversation at some
No,
point.
I
in your
never
relationship?
cared.
Wahid, do you think that comes up in conversation in a relationship over time? You don't think that gets snuck
It's
out there?
possible, yeah.
you know?
I think it will at some point, but when you're older,
Yeah, but-
older,
yeah,
older
but-
gentlemen
but-
like
but-
us, I don't think any chicks really care.
But he's 30.
Yeah.
He's 36, right? And then he
Yeah.
said he was in 75ish, and the girlfriend broke up with him. I mean, what's going on there? I mean, why would you break up with somebody based on their number?
How old was the girl?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Oh,
but probably
it's
around
probably younger.
around his age.
Yeah.
Let's
Immature. She's maybe immature.
Yeah, I mean, but like, what did, like you said, what did he do? Was he, like they're in a small town. I can see if you're in an area where everybody kind of knows each other, stuff like that. But you're in a big city, it doesn't matter, man. You can't really. I never care. I never actually, because I mean, you're an adult, so I'm like, hey, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Nando, you're so funny. Nando says, with these dating apps, 75 is a low number, but when it comes to telling women, cut it in half. That's the code. Cut it in half. Ladies, whatever numbers you're getting from your men, just know double it, all right?
Yeah, but it's funny. The stigma is like, oh, if you're in the triple digits, not you, but if you're in the triple digits, that's a sex addict. But then there's access, and then there's NBA and celebrity athletes and all that type of thing. So really, I don't know. It's kind of
triple
nuanced.
digits, man.
Hey,
No,
Tim,
I'm not. But I've debated people. Like, oh, if you get so high, it's like, oh, you're a sex addict.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, working in radio and working around celebrities, like, man, they're in the triple digits. I know that for a fact. But they're just doing what they're programmed to do, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, I like just like a T800, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
A T800, Billy. Hey, yeah, Billy. I like you said Billy.
Yeah, read it.
Said Billy said we have the Fifth Amendment for a reason. I was looking at that too. Good one, Billy. Good one, man.
Hey guys, coming up here right now, we have Pete Canavan. He's zooming in, and we're gonna be talking about cyber and personal safety as well, and what we can do about claiming our power back and getting our rights and our privacy back if we can. I mean, we'll find out here. So stay tuned. More to come. Don't go anywhere. A lot more laughter coming your way. So we'll see you in a minute.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Hey everyone, Monica Bay here, also known as the Healer in Heels, and I am so excited to bring to you a rare opportunity to experience a dynamic healing in person with me. I am here at Batch, where we are going to hold this event, and it is going to be amazing. During this 2-hour group healing, I am going to remove all those things that are holding you back in life, and then I'm going to set your energy to be in alignment for achieving your goals. I am a natural-born energy healer and psychic medium who has developed my gifts and magnified them over the past 25 years. This is a rare opportunity and space is limited. Hurry and get your tickets at the link below because this event is sure to sell out. Get ready to go on a journey of transformation, and I will see you there.
It's the perfect hour, and the stars are aligned. These conscious superstars are here to brighten your day. Listen to their stories as they connect, motivate, and build you from the bottom up. It's inspiration time with our Awakened Stars.
All right, welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, your co-host, along with Tim Owens, my other co-host here on the #1 conscious morning show in the world. And guys, we have a great show. We're talking about our cell phone usage, what your cell phones say about you, cybersecurity, and we have a very special guest, Pete Canavan's coming on here in a second. But before we do, Otis wants to share a little article with us.
Okay.
And just kind of set the mood for this next 30 minutes with our special Awakened Star.
Yeah, this and this is kind of the to me the reason I wanted to do the show. But the premise is this. This was an article that was reported October 8th, 2019. So this was last October. In the last 10 months, this is according to CNN, in the last 10 months, 140 local governments, police stations, hospitals have been held hostage by ransomware attacks. So what's happening is, like, and Pete can attest to this, that they're in these smaller countries, they have these like basically call centers where people go in and they just hack local governments, they hack police stations, hospitals, and they hold them at ransom through cryptocurrency because you can't track cryptocurrency. And they'll hold them for ransom for like $300,000, $400,000, like huge amounts of money. And there's nothing they can do but pay it. And I'm like, wow, what's going to happen when this trickles down, not only for the governments and things like that, because they have to pay it, they can't do anything about it, but what's going to happen when that trickles down to the individual and these consumers? Like I said, when somebody just says, hey, you're cheating on your wife, I'm gonna hack your phone and get your information and hold you for ransom and blackmail you.
Listen, it sounds like it's already probably happening. So let's bring Pete in. Thanks, Otis. Let's bring Pete in and let's talk about it. He's a cyber personal security expert. And Pete, welcome to the Awaken Atlanta show again. Good talking with you.
Hey, Pete.
Hey guys, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you, buddy?
All right, you look like security. Like right now, any minute he could pull up some guns and his whole place locks down. Metal. Yeah, I know, right?
I bet it.
So, Pete, we've been talking about cell phones, and we'll get into that in a minute here. But since Otis brought that up, that is very alarming. That you have countries now being held ransom on their technology information because it's all private. God knows what's information going on in the government. You know what they don't want you to know. And now being held ransom, and they have to pay in cyber monetary, cyber coins, whatever it may be,
Bitcoins, yeah,
bitcoins, because it can't be traced. This seems to be like something on the horizon that's going to be pretty big on an individual level.
The problem is, and you are correct in the fact that there are basically data centers overseas, and people go to these data centers, these business buildings, as if as a regular job, and their job is to basically sit at a computer all day and try to find vulnerable networks and vulnerable systems and servers on the internet that do not have good levels of security. We tend to be lazy. Right? A lot of people use the same passwords, which, all of us in IT always are screaming at you don't, but people do it anyway because they're lazy and they can't think of easier ways to manage passwords. So we use easy passwords and because they're simple to remember. And so if you're not using something that's a strong password, a long password, your system's going to be able to more easily be hacked. And so what these people do is essentially they sit there all day long and they just use automated software that goes out and it just randomly hits IP addresses. And when it finds one that has, open ports, and for those of you who may not be, technical, your router has ports that you can open up for different applications, whether it's for your camera on your doorbell, or for you to remotely access your computer, or for gaming, etc. So all these different applications, some of them need ports to be opened up on your system. If you don't harden your network, if you don't have somebody who knows how to properly configure your firewall, you're going to be much more susceptible to attack. And on an individual basis, as well as on a business basis, your data could be compromised and it could be encrypted through a ransomware attack.
How safe is our cell phones, Pete? I mean, honestly, that's where most of our, we look at our cell phones now, we have our passwords on our cell phones, we have our pictures, we have anything potentially compromising, it will be on our cell phone. Videos we watch. How do you have this lockdown firewall cell phone security?
Well, your cell phones can have antivirus software installed on them, as well as VPN software. And I highly recommend that anybody that has a smartphone, which is just about everybody today, use a VPN software when they're online doing things. And all that's going to do is, a VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It allows you to establish an encrypted connection between you and the internet. So it adds an extra layer of security and privacy to your connection, to your online habits. This includes when you're logging into your Facebook account or your other social media, as well as obviously online banking and stuff like that. Of course, you never want to be on an open Wi-Fi network doing anything like that, other than maybe the most basic surfing, because anything else is susceptible to potentially be compromised.
So what you're saying is, like, I could be walking down the street, we're in a restaurant somewhere, and I want to check my bank account. I log in on my bank account, and you saying somebody there, because they're in the vicinity, can actually get access to my information?
Depending on how you are accessing the internet, it is possible that somebody can be sitting there on the same network, and when they see a new device join the network, they can immediately turn their software to that device and try to hack into it.
Wow.
And if they're successful, then obviously they can get in and get your stuff.
Hey, Pete, real quick. So how good is the standard security that comes on your phone when you first purchase it? I mean, with basic.
Yeah, you don't want to just rely on the basic security that comes with your phone. You want to take advantage of, people are already starting to see this happen all over the place. It's what's called two-factor authentication. And it's an extra step you got to take. Again, it's a little bit more of a pain in the neck, but when you log into an account, that system is going to send, in a lot of cases, either an email to you or a text to your cell phone that contains basically a code that you have to enter into the website for you to then be able to gain access. So it's an extra layer of security that can really improve your safety and security in anything that you're logging into online.
Wow. So as far as if you're an employer, like how do you get employees to really understand how dangerous it is to be bypassing the safeguards that you have in place in the company? Because a lot of people do that. They'll try to go around and do different things. How dangerous is that for the company?
Educating the employees and letting them know, bottom line, look, if you value your job, you're going to need to help us be secure. And that requires you to act a certain way. That requires you to go through certain protocols when you are asked, for example, to supply a certain amount of, some certain type of information. So a company has to have very tight controls in place around their data and around the behavior and of their employees and the employees' access to that data, so that they can have policies and procedures in place that will give them the greatest level of security that they can
Pete,
have.
this is
if a person values their job, they're going to want to secure their company.
Pete, this is so disturbing because, like you said, the basic security, doesn't the responsibility, why as an individual am I have to be the guy who has to ramp up my security so my information is not stolen? Why wouldn't this fall on the company's responsibility, the mobile phone company responsibility, or Facebook or my banking institution, who, if I'm using their mobile version, why I have to up my security? Why aren't they responsible? Are they liable in case something's stolen? Can you sue them?
I mean, ultimately, it's your responsibility. And yes, these companies do a lot. I mean, our online banking, if you're doing any sort of online banking, you know that you got to jump through a few hoops to gain access to your accounts and be able to transfer money and things of that nature. So the institutions, whether they're financial institutions or, other types of accounts that we have online, whether it's social media or investing, they do as much as they can. But there's nothing they can do if you've got a really easy password, right? It's just going to be a lot simpler to hack. And if you're if you're not using additional security through, like what I just mentioned, like two-factor authentication or some other method of verifying that login every time it occurs, then you're going to have a problem. Those of you, I have one of these too for logging into a bank for one of my clients, these little key fobs where you essentially have to log in and then the system prompts you for your code that you have to then get off of one of these devices in order for you to log in securely. So there are different ways that we can use this, but it's you have to take advantage of the technology to protect yourself.
Okay, so it's our responsibility basically. Otherwise, we'll be behind the eight ball. So I have this little scanner card that I have in my wallet, right, with all my credit cards. So tell me how people could have their credit cards stolen or their debit cards stolen by just walking in a vicinity somewhere where somebody has some technology to do that, and then how effective are these things?
Okay, so you're talking about basically the ability to read the RFID chip on your new, latest, and greatest, most secure credit card. Well, I hate to break it to people, but I don't really think they are the latest and greatest, most secure thing, because if somebody has the old style credit card, right, which basically doesn't exist anymore, you have to have physical access to that card to get the number, get the expiration date, and get the 3-digit CVV code off the back. With the RFID chip cards, these can be read by technology when you get within a certain range of it. So you really want to take advantage of these RFID blocker wallets and purses that exist in order to prevent the technology from being able to scan the chips, because the chip is then protected by being inside a layer of metal, essentially, that blocks the signal from being transmitted. So that's scary stuff, because somebody can be within maybe 10 or 12 or 15 feet of you, never even get up close to you.
Wow.
And yet they have a technology with them that allows them to scan and get your credit card number off of that card.
So Pete, hold
now they go recreate the card.
Wait a second. Hold on, Pete. So you telling me that the technology that was designed to make it harder has actually made it easier? By them not
In
having
some
to physically.
respects, yes.
Oh my God.
Well, that just goes to show you how
my
this
God.
technology movement is really, in the end, is going to be the demise of our world, in my opinion. But how's 5G affect us now in reference to the security of our personal phones and everything else?
5G is really new. The I guess the selling some of the selling features obviously are much greater speeds and supposedly also greater security. I have not yet learned enough about 5G to understand or know exactly how the security and the encryption differs from the 4G realm. It's something that obviously I'll be getting into as the
Yeah, it's being
as
rolled out.
5G
It's being
gets
rolled
more
out in multiple
prominent.
multiple states right now. Georgia being one, but you're right. It's coming, and we don't even know what effects it has on us physically. Not to mention security wise, right?
Well, the health aspects of all of these rays that bombard our bodies every day.
yeah.
Who knows, how it's going to affect us down the road.
God, it seems crazy. Some of the things that worries me, and tell me, Tim, if you agree with this, with the technology coming about, our security, of course, the privacy issue is very important because we just sign our rights over. What happens with this information? Like, walk us through, Pete. Yeah. When somebody like I'll say something about Care Bears, talk to my friend, my phone's listening to me, and all of a sudden I get these advertisements for get your latest Care Bear, whatever it may be. Okay, what's the process here? Once I say that, what happens? Where's it go? Who's reviewing it? And then how do I get this advertisement sent back to me within minutes or seconds later?
This is definitely one of the freakiest things that a lot of people experience, myself included.
Okay.
The phone's listening all the time. Those Alexa devices, the Amazon Echo devices, those devices are listening constantly to what it is that we're saying because they have to be able to hear it when we say, hey, Alexa, play this song or whatever. So they're always listening. And what's happening is there's a lot of technology behind the scenes that essentially a lot of these companies are sharing this data. So for example, you mentioned, Tim, that you mentioned something about this Care Bear thing or whatever. Well, if you were doing that and say in the presence of your cell phone, now all of a sudden it's going into some big database and it's saying, okay, this guy talked about this device or this product. Let's start showing him ads on Facebook. And now you start seeing ads come up in your Facebook stream for it.
Right.
Or on websites that you're going to. You're starting to see ads pop up for it. It's crazy technology that goes on
But
in the backside of it
who's paying
to sell
for
products, essentially.
Yeah.
Who's paying for it on the other end? Like, if I'm a company that's selling Care Bears, do I contact some security or some mainframe in the government, CIA operative, and say, listen, I want to pay you so much money, so when they mention my name, my company, you send advertising to them. There must be some type of relationship, a commerce relationship being agreed upon beyond the consumer's understanding or knowledge.
A lot of it is automated because these systems are running ridiculous amounts of computing power.
Why would they automate it if they don't they're not making money on their end? If they don't making money from the company who they're trying to sell, and there has to be some type of commerce relationship, right?
I would think that yes. So yeah, the second part of that would be: is there some mechanism in place where people can say, "Hey, I want this product to be pushed"? Sure, I'm sure there's a way to do that, but anybody can essentially do that by, for example, running a Facebook ad, right? If you're running a Facebook ad, like I'm running a Facebook ad right now for a cybersecurity course, interestingly enough, like we're talking about here, that pushes people to a website, cyberbizplan.com, that helps them create a cybersecurity business plan for their business, right? So I run ads on Facebook, and my ads target a certain, demographic. If somebody in that demographic happens to talk about, hey, my business should have a cybersecurity plan, in the back end, their phone or their Alexa or whatnot is going and saying, okay, they're talking about buying this item, and now they may start showing my ad because of it. Okay. So I didn't have to tell anybody that, but I'm already paying Facebook to display my ad to that demographic. So when that demographic is talking about it, mentioning it, searching for it, etc., my ad's going to show up in the feed.
So maybe it's just people who just want the access, who when they want to access it, they can access it instead of it being like a commerce deal. Maybe it's just they use it on access basis.
Okay, well, maybe for Facebook or for some other things, but But when this is my theory, okay? And then you tell me if I'm onto something here, Pete, and Tim as well. I believe that these companies like the Amazons, the Facebooks, the cell phone Verizon, all these companies, I think they're in cahoots with some other people, higher level people who own a lot of these companies. A handful of people own a lot of these companies. And I think that, they don't have to have maybe a commerce relationship. Like if I was a businessman and I wanted to get my information out, I wanted to go to Facebook or I wanted to go to the cell phone company, whatever I make my deal with, and say, hey, listen, as people mention my name, a product that I sell, I want my product to pop up in their feed. I would assume that if that may not happen, but if it's not happening, then I think that there is an agreement that a lot of these companies own most of all these other larger companies that are pushing their ads, and I think they're feeding themselves, and I think we're being fooled on a consumer level and played on a consumer level that if there is not a commerce relationship, like as a business owner, if this is going on, I agree to have this experience of people, my phone listening to me and then giving me feedback on what to buy, then I should be able to go to whoever company is doing that and say, hey, I want to be on this list where people will get my ad. And I don't see that anywhere. Do you see it anywhere?
No.
So you think my theory has any merit at all? That a small group of the oligopoly companies are really running the show here?
They are. I mean, if you look at it, they're huge companies that control a massive amount of the consumer base. There was a huge, I guess, sort of enlightened session at one of these hearings recently in the government because a guy came in basically and said, look, Facebook can swing an election.
Yeah.
In the 2016 election, they were responsible for something like 2.5 million votes. In 2020, they could potentially be responsible for swinging as many as 40 million votes, simply because Zuckerberg could decide he wants to send a reminder message to everybody on Facebook that's, for example, a Democrat, and remind them to go vote. Well, he didn't send that to all the Republicans. So simply by sending that reminder to Democrats or registered Democrats, you could increase the number of people that go out and vote, because now they're getting a direct reminder from somebody who has a political agenda, right? And there's no way to trace that. There's no way to even know that that's even going on. And that's the scariest part of it, is when you have that much power in the hands of someone like that, whether it's an individual or in a company that has the power to really sway public opinion or votes, more importantly, and more, more scarily, that can sway an election one way or the other. And that's not democracy.
Well, hey, Pete, real quick, out of the 20 years of experience, can you tell us something that you was able to stop or prevent from happening? That something that came about that you saw, that you identified, that it could have been actually
in terms of a cyber attack.
Yeah, a cyber attack, something that you were able to stop.
Sure, there are services out there that I subscribe clients to that monitor your traffic on your firewall and on your network for you. And then they can send an alert out when they see any kind of funny activity, and allow you to kind of nip it in the bud immediately. So I had not that long ago an instance where we detected some strange activity on one of the servers at one of my clients, and it turns out that it was basically like a rogue script that had somehow been implanted on the network somehow. And when we traced it back, going through all the logs and everything, it came from a server in the Russian Federation.
Wow.
And it was one of these shotgun approaches where they're feeding addresses into a system that goes out and looks for vulnerabilities. In this case, it was a vulnerability that this client had specifically requested they wanted open against my recommendation, and I warned them about it. And within a week, they were compromised.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah. It's such scary. I mean, this alone, I mean, honestly, and not many people have answers for these reasons why they're doing it. But I other than the small businesses are not effective anymore, because if we're being advertised by these monopolies, basically, and who own the Amazon, they're all in bed with each other. They own Google, they own they own Facebook, they all own Instagram, they all own the same things, a handful of people, and they're targeting us as consumers based on whatever products and services they're selling. But other small businesses have no access to this information. Then this is democracy has gone awry. The republic is dead. Our security, we have been hijacked basically by monopolies, in my opinion. If there's not a best indicator, then this alone, we could be listening to cell phones, listening to Amazon, listening to or Alexa, whatever it may be, and we're being targeted, then we have lost I believe, our human rights of being not only consumers, but even being citizens. What you say there, Pete?
Well, essentially, that's exactly what's happened. It used to be back in like the 60s and 70s, people were paranoid about, being bugged in their house and, is my phone tapped, etc. We've essentially given the government a tap into every one of our homes by installing these devices, by having a smartphone,
And we
by
agreed to
having
it.
an
Yeah.
Alexa, by having an Echo, by having these devices in our house. We've essentially given the government carte blanche to listen to every damn thing we say. And it scares the living daylights out of me, and it should scare the living daylights out of everybody, because people say, well, it's I'm not doing anything wrong, so I really don't care.
Mhm.
Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be that you're doing something wrong, but why is it that anybody should be aware of all the things that you do, all the things that you say, all the items that you're interested in purchasing? That's a huge breach of security and privacy that essentially a large number of people don't
I got one.
really think about or care about, and they do it with want and abandon.
Wow.
My kid wanted something on my network for Christmas. I was like, no, it's not
Hey,
going on my
hey,
network.
hey, Pete! Look at how much money the FBI was able to save in overtime of the van sitting outside.
Right. Where are they? Oh, there they are.
The little hearing devices,
I mean, cost Dunkin' Donuts some money, but and coffee.
But so now this is another indicator, like them listening on these things, another indicator between the enmeshment and being in bed from the government and these companies, these monopolies. Are they all not the same now, or are they such bed partners that there's no difference between the corporations that are selling product services or using information for whatever reasons to our own government? And it brings in account what's your take on what's going on with Trump and the Russian hacking from day one? They've been saying all this stuff. Is it just Russia we have to worry about, or is it other countries too? Is there any validity to any of that, in your opinion?
Big question. First of all, what's going on right now is an absolute disgrace with the president, because we all know that there was no proof, there was no crime committed, and all the Democrats are doing is wasting everybody's time and energy instead of doing the business of governing and helping this nation move forward. They just keep dragging us through the quagmire. They keep doing everything they can to tie the president's hands instead of letting him get things done. And the funny thing is, he's still getting things done. So, that's part one there. But the there, we live in a time where privacy has essentially gone out the window. We look at things like the Russian hacking, event, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, and say, yeah, okay, so the Russians did try to do something, but what they did was nothing compared to the situation I just described with Facebook being able to swing votes. The Russian hacking,
Oh, yeah.
they did
I
like,
know,
a few accounts, they did a few things. It was minor. Now, could they ramp that up? Could they make a bigger, splash in this election cycle? Sure, they could, and they're probably going to try to do something. And it's not just the Russians; it's a lot of other companies as well, or countries rather as well. But they, all we can do is protect our systems as best we can, make our own decisions, be informed, and try to not, we have to kind of filter through the noise that exists because there's so much of it out there.
Yeah, well, listen, I agree with you. I think the priorities are so messed up, and I do think it's been from day one a political agenda. You say it long enough and repeat it long enough, people believe it to be true. I mean, that's just the level of ignorance most Americans and citizens where repetition is the way you make change, right? Whether it's false or truth. But for me, I'd be more concerned about that our Congress people, our congressmen and women, almost 40 to 50% of them are dual citizens. dual citizenships they have with other countries like Israel and other countries that they're, I mean, I would be more concerned about that fact than I would be if I'm worried about, Russia trying to screw an election over when we know our own government's sold out to these other countries that have access to top information and why we're involved in these wars. I've been calling the whole Iranian war is all part of this land grab for the Rothschilds, But I mean, my point is, it's just such a joke that most people are kept in that ignorance that we just don't move forward. And I'm no big supporter of Trump, nor am I a supporter of anybody else. And I think presidents are selected; they're not elected. But at the same time, I just think that this smoke and mirrors, this game chasing thing, is just something that's going to be our demise eventually.
Yeah, I can
It's
see that.
absolutely damaging this country. It's totally damaging the country. It's driving this big wedge in between people. It's causing friendships to cease to exist.
Yeah.
I mean, people get into crazy fights and screaming, and you see this stuff going online, and people get nuts over this. And you know what? You got to make your own decision. You have to be smart enough to look at, and read between the lines.
Yeah.
Because if you've got one narrative that the majority is trying to ram down your throat, but yet when you look at the facts and the the situation surrounding other things, and you look at the legality of things, like we're talking about, this impeachment trial now. I mean, he's not going to be impeached. The Senate is going to basically acquit him.
Yeah.
There is no crime.
It's probably going to help. It's probably going to help with his.
through.
It's going to help with his probably reelection. Honestly.
Oh yeah. Well, the Democrats rushed it through, and now they're thinking, and then Pelosi holds on to it for almost a month, and now they want to call these new witnesses. It's like, no, the job of the House is you guys, you put the case together, and that's it. You're done. Now you've given it to the Senate, and now the Senate has to vote on it.
See,
that's the bottom line. And they're trying to play this game, and it's not going to work.
Well, see, even on that game level, I think it's a psyop on a psyop. I think they're all working together. I think Trump and Pelosi, they're all good bedfellows, and they all know what's going on, and they have to play this division between Democrat and right and left and all that. And they already know Trump's going to win the reelection, or he's not going to win the reelection. Everybody knows whatever the game is. We just don't know. We go along with this division thinking there's this. That's my honest opinion. What I've learned over the last 30 years is it's all a joke, and we're being played. They've been sold out to the international bankers for a long time. All our security has been compromised to whatever degree, and it's just so sad that we continue with this. But hey, I could be wrong. What are you going to say, Tim?
No, I mean, possibly. I mean, I agree with you. I agree with both of you guys' point. I just feel as if, they pretty much know what's going to happen and who's going to do what. So I just pretty much.
So with all, say,
I just would say Trump and Pelosi aren't bedfellows.
Well, they may be fellows, but maybe not bedfellows. But let me say this to you, Pete. You mind if we hold you over for a little bit?
That's fine.
This is good. I have so many questions for you because I am so concerned about our rights, our amendment rights. Our first is being thrown out the door. Second's under attack. You got Virginia up in arms, literally. Our third, fourth now with the ability since 9/11, then the Patriot Act. I don't tell me where you stand on the Patriot Act. That now they could come into your home. If they consider you a terrorist, they say, listen, you're a terrorist, Pete. We could come. Our government come in your home, no remand of rights, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
They come in. They could take you, imprison you indefinitely. Now the Homeland Security just upped the branch of what considered a terrorist, right?
Yep.
Now they're saying white nationalists could be considered terrorists. Now, if you're white and you happen to be a nationalist, meaning that you think your country should come first and not the international agenda, right? You can be now considered a terrorist, so they could come into your home if they consider you a white nationalist, whatever that may be, and take you indefinitely. Where's our Fourth, Fifth Amendment rights? They're being ignored now. How do you? What security systems do you put in place for that?
Oh man, that's very scary because I've been seeing that on the news now, and it's been in the paper where they're targeting these people, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with being white and being proud of America, and they're trying to make that criminal.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous because this country, like it or not, was founded on a bunch of white guys who decided they wanted to make a better country for the rest of the world, in a place that could be a safe haven for people to practice whatever they wanted and not have to worry about any consequences of how they acted with regard to their religion or anything else. And so to see that coming under attack today is so disturbing because what is the barometer that they're going to use to decide whether or not they deem you a threat? It's a really wide open question. And now it's like you almost got to walk on eggshells even more with what you say and what you do and how you're perceived. Because if somebody has an agenda against you personally, because they don't like what you're saying, and maybe your sphere of influence is big enough that they feel you have uh, a, a lot of people that are going to listen to you, whether it's a platform like a TV show or a radio show or an article or what have you, that's a problem because they may decide they want to quiet you and do it under the guise of you being a white nationalist.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous, but at the same time, it scares the living daylights out of me.
Okay. Well, honestly, Pete, I think it just has a lot to do with just keeping the division going, man.
Yeah.
I think it does. I think the minute, because you look at now, the police stuff has kind of died down a little bit. So now they got to come up with something else to kind of keep everybody fighting against each other, and that keeps our mind off what the government's doing and what's going on. It's like the old magician's trick, man. I think that's what that has a lot to do.
Watch the left hand while the right hand makes all the.
I mean,
moves.
It's political sleight of hand.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Stacy says, Pete, the governor of Virginia is trying to label veterans as domestic terrorists now. So, and this is where the road we're going down. I mean, you're seeing all the television shows. I'm watching Netflix, and it's always like these white guys are the worst. They're the killers, or they're everything like that. And then they have like a lot of ladies, women are going against, they're really empowering women, killing all these, taking these white guys down. And it's just getting to a point where we're being programmed. I believe we're being programmed to believe this. And if that's the case, because then who's the biggest threat to the security of the government? Apparently the veterans, right? And the veterans being domestic terrorists now. So as you change the social norm and we go in that direction, and these veterans now are the enemy, who's going to protect our own country from our own government?
It's mind-boggling to see veterans be looked at as potential threats. These are people who were willing to give their life to protect the values and what this country stands for, and to think that they are somehow a threat because they're a little older and they've got guns and they think a certain way politically, and however they view life, and they have their certain morals and standards that they live by. To think that they're a threat is absolutely ridiculous. And I agree with what you're saying, is that they're trying to drive this wedge. They're trying to sort of do this sleight of hand where it's like, oh, let's blame this group so that people are distracted from the real topics of the day. Yeah. And I think that happens all the time. And it's scary because they're not dealing with the real issues and the things that concern you and I and a lot of other people that are listening. These concerns aren't being addressed, and we're being told, oh, everything is fine. You need to worry about, this other thing, whether it's impeachment and Trump and how bad they say he is, versus the problems, for example, going on in California with the homeless and all of the absolute filth and disgusting things that are going on in this country, which they need to be dealing with. And you talk about Pelosi, that's her district. Yeah. Like, I don't even understand how people can sit still and not rise up and say enough is enough, do something here. They're decriminalizing all of these criminal acts because they don't have the manpower to deal with it. Well, that's not a solution.
Well, the biggest threat to the nationalism is the veterans, because if the Pelosi's and even whoever's out there pushing it, Republican and Democrat, I say above, they're all divide and conquering. And if you think about it, I look at the bigger picture, I look at the end result, and then I kind of back in my belief of what's going on. The end result is we have this breakdown of society. We're demonizing veterans. They're soon going to be on the terrorist list, and that they will be considered a danger to the country. And it tells me, if you have a veteran who's fought for this country, who fights for this country, who believes in the flag, believes in the freedom, believes in the ability for somebody to burn a flag, and will protect their rights to do that, because that's just our First Amendment right, freedom. And then that they're being demonized and being put in jail, or will eventually be put in jail. If that's the case, then we lost our country already to some other foreign control. We don't have our country anymore if this is where we are right now. And the George Soros is out there, who's not an American, or maybe a dual citizen, who's putting in these crazy far left DAs in each government, like in Virginia, and is pushing these elections, and then putting the police against the judicial system. Then where are we now? I mean, we already lost this country. I think we lost the country already, in my opinion, Pete.
In many respects, I agree with you. I think we have lost on a lot of fronts. Is it time to throw in the towel? No. I think we have to fight
Never,
Yeah,
never,
more
I
than
don't think so
ever.
either.
never,
But
never,
No.
it
never.
is no right, but it's disturbing that so many people have sort of given in. Like they either don't care or they just kind of throw up their hands and say, "What can I do about this?" And they don't feel like there's anything you can do. But there are things you can do. You know, you can write your congressman. You can go out and be a vocal, proponent of certain things. Um, but a lot of people don't want to do that because, again, why? The fear of reprisal, right? They don't
Yeah,
want to be
yeah,
targeted and
yeah,
think,
yeah.
somebody's like, oh, listen, this person, we need to silence this person,
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's very scary.
it's time for bravery. We got to wrap up here in a minute, but it's time for I say be braver. It's time
Yeah.
to be braver. It's not being brave is not enough.
Mhm.
We got to go that next step. We got to be braver. So, Pete, how can people reach you? What's the best way, and what can you do for them if they reach you and get you involved? Because I think what you're doing is so critical now more than ever before.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Best way to get a hold of me, find out a little bit more about me, what I can do, and how I can help businesses and individuals is just my personal website is petecanavan.com. And there's links to all different stuff there. But I've written a bunch of books. I speak on various personal safety and security topics, whether it's physical safety and security, all the way up through the digital world safety. And businesses that really want to protect themselves, as we started the show off talking about cybersecurity and having a cybersecurity program. Go to cyberbizplan.com. And there's a free webinar you can watch. You can learn a lot about it. And then if you want to take it to the next level, I can help you do that as well.
Wonderful. And guys,
Wow.
take note. Get your cell phone, get the extra coverage, the VPN or whatever that is called. Get that, check it out, and protect yourselves because guess what? No one else is. And yes, be worried about your own government. All right. so check yourself out, get yourself in security, and support your veterans because they're our final line of hope there. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Pete. When
Thanks,
we get
Pete.
back, we have good news and more coming. What's going on in this world that you need to be prepared for and be aware of because you will make the difference, or we will make the difference. All right, guys. We'll see you in a minute.
Awaken stars.
Hi, I'm Jessica Joins, author, spiritual coach, and inspirational speaker. Understanding your soul purpose is the most important work you will ever do. It's the key to unlocking your true potential and happiness. And that's why I'm so happy to announce that you now have the opportunity to have your most important soul purpose questions answered by me live on air. That's right. I'll tackle your most important questions about how to step into living your life's true calling on my show, Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. So if there are big questions or challenges you've been wanting answers to help with your soul purpose journey, here's your chance. Write to me at contact@uimedianetwork.org and you might get a chance to be featured on my show.
What's happening, world? It's time to dive into local and national news topics that are guaranteed to put a positive spin on your day. Join us as we discuss impactful headlines and local events designed to enrich your life. Enjoy your cruise with good news. The Good News segment is sponsored by Action Specialty Carts, Metro Atlanta's #1 dealer for golf cart sales, service, and rentals. Visit ascarts.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I'm Tim Ray, your host, along with Tim Owens.
Tim Owens.
Standing in
Tim-O.
for Shannon McVeigh, who's probably fast asleep right now.
Nah, she's still sleeping.
She's still sleeping. Well, she's recovering from the flu or something like that.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed Pete. I know it's a very serious conversation, guys.
Absolutely.
And we do that. We have fun on the show, but we also get serious, which I think is we share and bring information to you all to help you prepare for your life, hopefully in a way that's makes sense and is rational.
Absolutely.
But that's really scary stuff.
It
isn't
is, man. I'm telling you. Unbelievable.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
what worries me is like, these guys are targeting us, but somebody has to be benefiting from it. And
Yeah.
if these only the big companies are doing it, and small companies are
No,
not
absolutely.
involved in the game here, then that shows you where we are right now and how we have just
They're
been,
in it,
I
man.
believe, taken over. We've
They
been
are.
hijacked.
They are
Our
in it.
country's been
They are
hijacked,
in
man.
it.
You know,
Come on.
I just wanted to make a comment. You
Yeah.
know, I'm always fascinated by, like, when you look at sci-fi movies,
Yeah.
how close the sci-fi movie is to real life,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
right? And I don't know if you guys ever remember the movie The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger, the Joker, the Batman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a scene in the movie where Batman, he was trying to catch the Joker, and somehow he used some technology to turn everybody's cell phone to a listening device, right?
Yes.
And Morgan Freeman's character was like, "Hey,
Yes.
Lucius Fox is his character."
right.
He was like, "Hey, this is too much power for one man to have. I know you're
Yes.
trying to catch the Joker, but this is just too much power."
Yes.
How real is that now? Like, where everybody's cell phone is listening to them.
Yeah.
You're right.
Absolutely.
You're right. And unfortunately, the people who are behind this are not like Morgan Freeman with a conscience. They're
no.
They're psychopaths. They're psychopaths, and
Yeah.
they don't care anything about you. They just want
Yeah.
to abuse, use you, and discard you. And this is where I think
Yeah.
we are right now, unfortunately, in our world and society, and why freedom and why this network's so important now, guys, to get behind and sponsor, because we are here to create a platform for your truth to share uncensored. And until the day that we're not able to do that, until the day that we are shut down for whatever reasons, then please get behind us,
and
support us as much as you possibly
and
can.
start doing some research. Like, get out there. You know,
Yeah.
don't just believe what you hear, man.
Yeah,
Research
vet
yourself.
it out,
Get-
man.
yeah, get
Go
some-
down
yeah.
that rabbit hole, as Robert said. Go down that rabbit hole and
Yeah.
check it out. So, what do you got? Some good news for us?
Okay, yeah, we got some good news. We got some stuff in the news, some topics. What do you want to go with? Just want to
Okay,
talk about school teachers to start off? Or
Yeah,
what?
let's talk about school teacher. That's a good one here.
School teachers. How about it?
So, Oklahoma teacher arrested for alleged threesome with student and another woman. I mean, she doesn't look that bad, you know. I mean, it's the hypocrisy here, of course, is that what was that movie I was watching a little while ago? It was so funny. I can't remember the name. Where these police officers heard about this female teacher having sex with a high school kid, and the police were like, "What's the problem?"
No, you know what, man? That's so terrible. But
I
that's,
know,
I mean,
I
but
know.
it's such a guy thing to say. But I mean, but what's going on, man? It seemed to be on the rise.
It
now.
is. It really is.
What's happening, man?
I mean, now it's not bad enough that the teacher, it's not bad enough that it's a female teacher sleeping with a high school kid. Now they got to have threesomes. You know, what I mean,
Yeah,
it is. What's next? You can bring an animal in the picture here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is getting crazy here. So what's
No.
happening to her? So this lady, her name's Joyce Churchwell. She extended an invitation to her house last year, and they engaged in a threesome with this kid. I'm going to say they say how old he is.
Okay.
According to a rep, that the sheriff's office said that they admitted that this encounter had taken place at the teacher's home along with another adult female, a former teacher at the district, along with contacting the student she engaged in sexual intercourse with. Churchwell allegedly contacted another student
Wow.
via Snapchat. She's Snapchatting these kids, man.
The technology.
Yeah, the technology strikes again.
I know,
How about
right?
it?
I know.
It's ridiculous,
I
man.
know what's going to happen to her, but I'm sure she's going to be going to jail. But
She's a pretty woman. I got a picture up on the screen.
yeah, okay.
But you know what's? But women don't seem to get as harsh a sentences as.
No, they don't. Why do you think that? What do you think that's?
Yeah.
What do you think hypocrisy is? You think they get easier break because they may be more vulnerable
Well,
to
you
the
know what?
male aggressive alpha male? Or
You know one thing I know? I've seen some cases, and I've seen the husbands will be in court. And some of these ladies will be married.
Yeah.
They have a husband. He'll come to
know,
court.
yeah.
He'll support them. He'll say, she made a mistake, and
Right.
everybody ask for leniency and stuff like that. It's insane. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you be able to stay with if you had a wife that wasn't?
No, I
That
mean,
would be a tough one, wouldn't
if my wife's sleeping with two high school kids, I'd be
Man.
like, I'm sorry, honey, you crossed the line.
But what?
you know?
But what psychological damage you think that does to the guy?
Oh
Like,
God, yeah.
come home, the cops
Yeah, I
come to
know.
the house, and y'all sitting down watching Netflix and. Hey, Mr. Ray, is Mrs. Ray around by chance? Oh, what's going on? What's this about, honey?
We caught her on camera.
Oh man,
that is pretty scary, guys.
talk about awkward.
I know, right? Hey, speaking of that, check this out. Man sues Pornhub over lack of closed captioning for the hearing impaired.
Oh man,
I mean, Pornhub is bad enough, right? And it can be very addicting for people. But now, these poor people can't hear with these these hearing impaired now. They're suing because they need to have more captions there. Right? I mean, isn't the video enough?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to hear what they have to say. I mean, honestly,
you pretty much know what they're saying. I mean, it's not. I mean, you know what they're saying already. It's not much dialogue. I mean, I don't really understand.
Affirmative action in porn.
What?
Affirmative action in porn? What a world.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty.
There was something that happened. I think this is crazy statistics. When there was that hurricane or the hurricane that was threat over in Hawaii was coming, and what I don't know, I can't. There was a big threat going on, so they had to shut down all their internet, right, or whatever happened, and Pornhub was not being used. When the first internet came back, Pornhub crashed because so many people got back on the porn, man.
Oh man!
And the whole Hawaii went down. The whole Pornhub in Hawaii went down because everyone's like, "Hey, we were out for Pornhub for 3 days. We got to get back on it." This is how serious pornography addiction is so high.
I mean,
and what's sad is that the kids today, the teenagers today, especially teenage boys, are so susceptible to it. And they already are already addicted to computers because of the Fortnite and all that stuff. But now they're addicted to that and having pornography experiences with not a real person.
Yeah, I mean it's so accessible. You know, when we were kids, it was either your uncle gave you some books,
Playboys,
he gave you some old books you found or stumbled upon. Yeah, it's way different.
Well, it's sad though, and it is at epidemic levels. And we talk about technology addiction, pornography addiction. It's going worse. So what do you got there?
Well, now this one here, Tim, when I saw this, I almost hit the floor. Michigan man returns $43,000 found in a couch he purchased at a thrift store. Oh. Now, come on, man. This guy actually, now I'm not saying it's not, good
wow,
Samaritan,
that is a tough
to me, that was a gift, man. That was your blessing. You bought a couch. I mean, that's my blessing. Like, that was for me, man. I'm not supposed to give it back.
Talk about who needs it. He has to buy a couch from a thrift store.
Exactly.
He sure could use the $43,000.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean,
oh my God, can you imagine that right now?
I tell you what, if this man
cash.
If this man was married, he's divorced. He's getting divorced. I can guarantee he's on his way to. He should have kept that money for his divorce attorney because he's gonna need it. I guarantee it. Guarantee it, man. $43,000.
Oh my God, what would you do? Like say $50,000, you just found cash.
I'm keeping that
first
money.
thing I'd be like, I'd look around, I'd shut on my blinds, I lock my door, and I'd be like, okay, what's going on here? Right?
I'm keeping that money. I mean, check this out. So I don't even have to read because I saw this
What
already.
if it was drug money or some type of it was stolen money?
Money's money, man.
No, actually, come to find out that it was a couch. I think the lady said that it was her. He found out who donated it, and he contacted the lady and gave it back to her, and it was her grandfather's couch. He had stuff that had been saving the money in there.
Wow.
I wonder how much did she give him for that? Did she give him anything, or was it just a thank you?
Yeah, I know. Well, thank you very much.
Think about it. She had the couch. She never looked in it.
She had no idea.
She never looked in it.
So how do you hide?
He probably had dementia.
No, he's probably back from the Depression days, man.
Yeah. Well,
he didn't trust the banks.
But the daughter got the couch, donated the couch, so she didn't want it. She gave it away, so it's mine.
Well, she never knew the money was in there. No? I don't think so.
Guess what?
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Tim.
Hey, man, I'm telling you. That's mine right there, brother.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it is something. Maybe, hopefully, that guy had some money, or he did. But yeah, I mean, $43,000. How do you even put $43,000 in a couch? I mean, where do you put it?
Yeah. All hundreds is how they has that
Oh yeah, I guess
that thin layer on the bottom.
Yeah, and plus my grandmother back in the day, she used to hide money. When she moved, we were digging up the floor to find money. That's just what older people did back then.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I heard stories of one guy say he went to an old farmhouse, took the bed out, he found like $20,000 taped behind the headboard.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's we didn't care for banks, old farmers, stuff like that. So I could see it.
Well, to me, it just seems so. I guess it's a very comfortable couch. It's $43,000 in there. Probably very soft, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is interesting. Teachers sue Delta over jets fuel dump over schools. So this is Los Angeles. A lawsuit was filed Friday against Delta Airlines for 4 teachers at an elementary school drenched by jet fuel from an airliner preparing to make emergency landing at Los Angeles International Airport. Can you believe that? Yeah. I mean, they're getting sued. This is where lawsuits gets crazy. I understand the kids got gas put on them. But unless there was permanent damage or something like that, yeah, I guess you got to look at some.
Well, Tim, when we was kids, at least they was vaping instead of smoking cigarettes. We was kids. That's what they were doing around that time.
But I wouldn't be. You're right.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if they sue him for addicted to fuel jet now.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it was jettisoned this because the plane was in emergency status. They had to get rid of the gas in case they don't want to blow up and kill all the people on the plane. Now they're being sued. It said the kids became sick, dizzy, and nauseated.
Wow.
Through firefighters didn't transport any of the affected teachers or students from any of the several schools that had been under the plane's flight path. One of the teachers said at press conference she sought medical help for reoccurring symptoms. All right. Well, yeah. Is that, or is they just looking for a lawsuit? You know what I mean?
Thinking lawsuit.
You think a lawsuit?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Are we not too lawsuit happy? Do we not get a break from that or what?
I don't think it was jet fuel. I think it was chemtrails.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, but it wouldn't fall that quick. But yeah, I mean, I'd be more worried about the chemtrail. Why don't you sue them for the chemtrails on a daily basis, the metal's falling down, rather than a one-time jet fuel on your head?
Otis, you got them started, man.
Jeez, you got me started. Play that music, Wahid.
No, they don't know what's even going on because no one looks up. They're looking down.
I know. I guess if the chemtrails were like jet fuel, people would wake up a little bit faster, wouldn't they? So what else you got for us over there?
Okay, got one here. We got you guys remember Lamar Odom, the former Lakers player who was married to one of the Kardashians, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we got Lamar Odom's fiance reveals they use app to alert her if he's watching porn. So Lamar Odom apparently has a porn addiction.
Oh, wow.
So that old technology strikes again. Said Lamar Odom's fiance, Sabrina Parr. I didn't know he had a new girlfriend. Yeah. Recently opened up about using an app called Convenient Eyes to track the former NBA stars' porn watching.
Well, guys are more aggressive in sex, and of course, pornography is more of addictive, I think, for men than women. But what about sex on demand? What do you think about that with your girlfriend or your wife?
But Lamar Odom, not to cut you off, but Lamar Odom, he was at not only porn addiction, but he was at the Bunny Ranch. I don't know if you guys remember the Bunny Ranch. HBO did a series on him in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, Tim getting the VIP card, right?
Yeah.
I
know all about that.
I forget the owner, but Lamar Odom went there for like a binge and like passed out. Like he got so much sex he literally passed out. They had to call the hospital for him.
Jesus,
man.
Well, do you think, Otis, Wahid, or Tim, do you guys think if men and women, the girls and men, were having a lot more sex, do you think they would be so addicted to pornography? If your woman was giving you sex on demand whenever you wanted, you think you'd be watching porn?
I think it's on an individual basis, but
Yeah.
but I'm more inclined to say no.
What do you think, Tim?
Honestly, I don't really know, man. I
Do you
don't
think that porn, voyeurism is too exciting?
I just
than just
I
having
think some people
the act of it.
Some people just like it. They just like the fantasy of it. I mean, I don't think it really matters because a lot of people in relationships they, get intimate pretty frequently anyhow.
Initially, but often in relationships, the things die out, and then that's when I think the porn addictions become a little more serious but I just think if couples were more open with each other of what their needs are, and they actually were trying to assist each other in that process, whatever it may be, I think that would take away. But right now, it's epidemic. I mean, pornography is epidemic everywhere right now, and mainly in kids and boys.
Yeah, I mean, because
And
always
men, adults.
Yeah, I mean, but addiction is addiction, man. I think some people just never get enough. I mean, I've seen stories of people who just can't help themselves, man. I mean,
Right.
so,
yeah. I mean, sex addicts is no different than AA addicts and everything else, right? Well, that's interesting though. Lamar Odom reveals all the app. Wow, she told him on him. He's got to be pissed, right?
Look at his facial expression, like I'm busted.
So you hear about the Virginia going on in Virginia right now with the ban. The governor is banning assault rifles, and you have people just they're talking about has he put it into emergency yet? Virginia is an emergency crisis, whatever they call that.
Yeah, state of emergency.
State
I
of
think he
emergency.
has.
Because people aren't, this is what happens. You get these folks in there who don't understand the Second Amendment, and they're just totally denying the Second Amendment. And guys, if what we're saying today, especially with Pete Canavan coming on, that our country's probably been compromised already. It's probably under control of international bankers and international countries, right? Not the United States anymore. If that's occurred, if that's any truth to what we're saying today, Why would you ever want to give your gun rights up if that is the case? Yeah. And why are they so aggressively after our guns if that's not the case? I pose that question. What do you think of that?
You know, I had a friend of mine. He's a Navy veteran.
Yeah.
And he said that he believed that's the reason why the United States never been invaded, because everybody got guns.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he said. He said, think about it.
Yeah.
If any country tried to invade us, everybody has guns.
Right.
You look at, here in the South, inner cities. So come on.
Unless you're New Jersey, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
We'll take over New Jersey very quickly.
And I would think as a nation, we have to be probably the most armed as far as citizen-wise. What do you think?
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, and you got some extremes, but I never really used to be a big gun advocate until I saw what my government was doing and how it was being hijacked by international folks. And now I'm a very big gun advocate. And it's not so much of being a gun advocate. I'm a security advocate. I'm self-defense. I want to be able to defend myself if I'm ever attacked, because it's not just our own government that's going to attack us, but it's the legislations that they pass that allow criminals to come out and actually cause harm and hurt people. And I want to be able to defend myself. And I can't wait for a cop to show up if I'm in the midst of a chaos.
Agreed.
And speaking of that, California bans private prisons and immigration detention centers. Check that out. California moved to end private for-profit lockups in America, which I'm not so much against that system, because I think it's being turned into a business. Yeah. But the federal immigration detention centers now, a lot of folks they're being let go, and more criminals now are being put out to come after you. So I mean, that we could talk about that forever, right?
Absolutely.
But guys, we have Monica Bay coming in here in about a minute, so stay tuned. You can hear all about what she's up to. She's not only a co-host on our on the network here, or I should say, a host on our network on our show, but also she's a brilliant woman and has certain powers and skill sets that you're going to want to hear and see. So stay tuned, guys. More to come. And thanks, Tim. What a great show. I really love the show so much.
I'm having a good time, buddy.
Often, man.
Good time,
all right, guys.
man.
We'll see you in a minute.
Good news.
Hi, I'm Greta Full, President of Golden Home Services, a premier private home care service for seniors in Georgia for almost 2 decades now. We all have parents, and I know I love my parents more than anything else in this world. And because of that, Golden Home Services makes sure we care for your parents as if they were our parents. Call 678-242-0084 anytime, or visit goldenhomeservices.com to select from our range of affordable home care services.
Hi, I'm Tim Ray, founder of the United Intentions Foundation, where we offer resources and programs to help others awaken to the power of their intentions. One of the ways we get this great message out is through our UI Media Network, which is a platform for people to share their stories and wisdom on air on how they live a life with intent.
2020 is the year of clarity, so help us activate more programming and resources that provide you with the information and education you need to see things more clearly. Raise the frequency with UI Media Network.
We are so grateful to this incredible cast of paradigm shifters who are authentically changing this world on a global scale.
Go to uimediaapp.com and donate today.
They support us so we can support you. Hear about conscious businesses that provide goods and services to our community. Through one another, we uplift and support for the greater good. Let's give a hand to our goodwill partners.
Welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, along with Tim Owens. We're co-hosting today, and we have a very special guest, the one and only Monica Bay. She is so much, and she also is a host on our network, as well as an energy healer and a purpose alignment coach, because we all want to have purpose in life. So welcome, Monica.
Hey,
Thank you.
Monica. Welcome. Thanks
Thank
for joining
you.
us this
Very,
morning.
very happy to be here.
You just had a show yesterday, didn't you?
I did.
What was it about?
The show yesterday was about the power in your hands.
Ooh.
And so I was teaching people about how
Are we
powerful.
talking about pornography again?
No, we're not talking about that. Talking about a better kind of power, okay? How powerful our hands are as spiritual beings living in human bodies, and our human hands are extremely powerful. And I taught everyone how you can do so much with your hands, manifestation, and taught about the different chakras in your hands.
So because there's so many energy vortexes in our hands or something that we don't take it for granted, like our like Reiki and things like that.
Yeah, well, you have 7 chakras in your hand, and you can those energy vortexes can send and receive energy. They can sense energy, and I was teaching people how they can activate their chakras in their hands and use that to do many, many things.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Come on, man. How we live in such a great world where we could talk about what's going on whatever political agenda, but then at the same time, it really boils down to, doesn't it, Monica, that we have the individual power. We're multidimensional beings.
Yes,
And
definitely.
we co-create our reality.
Yes.
And we're not subjected to all this if we choose not to be, because we could change whatever we want.
Exactly. We are not victims of our society or our emotions or our minds or anything. We are in complete control.
Yeah, I mean, what do you, Tim? You concur?
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, like I watched Monica's show yesterday, and she was talking about like when you leave a piece of yourself. Because I used to talk about that too. Like I used to talk about people who would share an automobile when everybody in the house would share a car. And they have all those problems with it because all those different energies are getting in it. And they have a bunch of, most time if you share vehicles with people, you have more issues with it than when you're the only person that's driving it. You know, so like when Tim lost his teddy bear, you know, he was,
Is that what happened?
It was my hamburger.
You know, he slept with it so much that it was just full of Tim's energy. So he was in tears. You know,
poor Tim.
Yeah, it took him years of therapy to get over that.
Now we know what to get him for Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know, honestly, I was a hamburglar, and my mom took it away from me when I was young. She said I was growing. You know, you can't have a hamburglar because they took it everywhere. You know, there's McDonald's hamburglers, whatever. And so my best friend Toddy, which I mentioned, he called in like a week ago. He bought me when I was an adult. I don't know, 30 years old. He found one on Amazon, right, or whatever they call that. Yeah, Amazon. And he found it, and he gave me a hamburglar. Yeah. The one that was not the same one, but it was one. I'm like, wow, look at that.
Did it bring you joy? Did you have tears come to your eyes?
It brought me joy. I'm telling you, tears, but it brought me joy. And I'm like,
he doesn't want to admit the tears.
I went home and
when we leave today, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's going to go sleep with it. Take a little nap, sucking his thumb.
I really should put it on my bed. I'm gonna find my hamburger. I think I gave it to my son. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna put it on my bed. That's what.
But you got to move those. Got to get those dolls and stuff out the bed.
Those AI dolls. So Monica, what have you been up to? Tell us what's going on in your life right now.
Oh, so much is going on. Well, I have an event coming up.
Really? What is the event about?
Yes, it is a healing event. And the healing event is on January 25th, which is a Saturday, in Atlanta at Batch Fitness. And this event is going to be just amazing. I'm really excited to bring it to everyone because I'm able to really, really heal people. And this is going to be a group event to heal, you know, a bunch of people.
Wow. Now, are you really healing them, or are they healing themselves with your help?
Well, so that's a complex question and a complex answer. But I am healing them because I'm actually taking the reins and removing things, tapping into them and seeing what is holding them back, and then removing the things from within themselves that are holding them back. And then they carry on the torch from there. Okay. So it's kind of,
so
you know,
you're like a catalyst for them.
Yes, definitely.
So you'll go in and they'll see a shift and change in whatever it is. And if they don't change their thought, belief, or emotional pattern, they could always slip right back to where they were before, unless they continue with the work that you've done.
Yeah, and so the energy that I actually remove, so I remove past traumas, limiting belief systems, anxiety, depression. I can correct all of those issues within themselves. Right. But obviously, once I remove that energy, it's gone. That same energy can't come back. Okay. However, it built up for a reason, and so if they don't change their mindset and you know, other things that may be affecting them externally that they're allowing to affect them internally, it could build up to create a separate issue later. If they do. So I teach them also how to carry that forward to make sure that doesn't happen.
Tim, you believe her?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, because see, okay, I've actually done a session with Monica, and she's great. And when
Oh.
she's come on my show Friday, we're gonna talk a lot about it.
Okay.
But I highly, recommend.
Monica week.
Yeah, I mean, for real, like Tim, no joke. I honestly recommend anyone who has some issues. Monica's great. She's a real deal. She really
Thank
does.
you.
She really does what she says.
Yeah,
'cause-
that's not just a hands-on experience you're talking about. You're talking about, really getting your energy.
Okay, I'm gonna share this because we talked before when me and Monica first met. We talked about energy work and stuff like that because I was really into that at one point and everything, and I kind of turned things off and kind of went away from it because a lot of stigma kind of goes with some stuff.
Yeah, and it can be scary for some people.
and it
too,
was kind of scary, but when she talked about it, a lot of what she was explaining and saying is true. I mean, energy does. It really does affect you. And this my personal, because I would talk about it like people come into a room. Some people could come in the room and change the whole atmosphere and stuff like that. I mean, this is a real thing, and she knows her stuff, man. Like, I'm not just.
Well, listen, I love to hear that, and it's funny too because sometimes in organizations and even in little cultures, one person leaves and say there was this like negative environment for whatever period of time, and you don't know where it's coming from. It's just kind of the culture it's created, right? But when that person leaves or they quit or whatever it may be, everything changes. And you're like, wow, what happened? And a lot of people aren't pointing fingers. I mean, is that fair enough to say that? Some people are just that negative, or they're not matching the vibration in the room, or they're creating they're that powerful, they're creating a negative vibration?
Well, it's not about power, it's about susceptibility. So all of us have auras that span 10 feet around us. And what's happening when someone with extreme negative energy comes into a room and then they're able to shift that whole entire mood is our auras, like right now, we're less than 10 feet from one another. So our auras are mixing. Now, we all have good energy, so we're good. But but if one of us had
I'm just
negative...
getting turned on right now. Talk about this threesome stuff. What's going on here?
Tim is not going to quit. He's not going to get punched right in his ass. Some lady, I guarantee,
Oh, my goodness.
some lady's going to knock him out this week.
Okay, so you say 10 feet is like, what's the
10 feet, yeah.
When are you really mixing your energy with each other? Like,
When you're less than 10 feet from
Less
one
than 10
another,
feet.
because your aura actually picks up the health or the illness of its environment. And so our auras are very absorbent. And if you're empathic, your aura is super absorbent. So what's happening is if someone enters a room, all of our auras are picking up on energy that's all around us. And when they enter a room, their negative energy, our auras start to absorb that as well.
that's why sometimes you could walk into a room, you never heard what they said, but you know they're talking about you negatively because and not just it's not just the nonverbal behavior, it's the energy.
It is because we all have receptibility. We all have receptors in our aura that take in information. That information is a frequency, and that information actually has coding behind it. Almost like a web page has coding behind it that with what you see visually. There's coding behind energy, and we have the natural ability to read that energy. It's very subtle, and we don't realize that's what's happening, but that is what's happening behind the scenes.
So on like a higher self level, we're interpreting everything going on an energetic level. Because our little temporal selves can't understand it.
Exactly.
So how can we learn to understand? Because I want to know that stuff. I want to know, I want to know what I'm experiencing right now.
You
want to good. It's real good,
Well, all you have to do is, and I teach people to do this too. So anyway, I'm going to plug myself real quick. Go to monicabey.com, monicabey.com, and book a consultation. I teach people how to develop their spiritual gifts and psychic ability, telepathy, whatever it is that you want. End of plug. Now,
I love her so much.
Now, so basically, all you have to do with your aura is start to really focus and pay attention. Because if you're open and you have your awareness, then you're able to actually pay attention to what you're sensing. And then as you do that more and more, it becomes a stronger sense and a stronger ability, and that's how you strengthen it. It's like a muscle.
Okay, so it is practice, and you can expand this extra sense or this. Your five senses expanding your visual, your feeling, but is it a sixth sense? Is it a feeling sense? I mean, is it one of our five senses being expanded, or is it another sense?
It's definitely another sense, but sometimes, so some people everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses when it comes to sensing psychically. So some people are more auditory, some people are more sentient, which means they just kind of know. They don't know how they know, they just know. Some people are more clairvoyant, where they'll see things, they can kind of see imagery or have visions, and there's different kinds, but everyone has a different sense. But it's definitely more of a sixth or seventh sense, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the more you experience, the more you focus in with your intentions, the more you practice this. the more intuitive you become, or the more you can pick up that sense.
Exactly.
So how can that serve women and mankind right now, having that extra strength? I mean, is this something that we're moving into? We got to keep up with the Joneses here of energy sensing here.
Well, I don't think that we're. I know that there's definitely a shift going on in the universe. There's more consciousness becoming more awake. Awaken Atlanta.
Yeah.
So,
There you go. Yeah.
so there is that happening, but it's really there's nothing new in the universe. So we're just coming back to where we were before we created the crazy society that we live in now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Ancient peoples, were into this. They knew this stuff. That's how we know about the chakra system. That stuff was all
Absolutely.
discovered intuitively. They didn't have medical science as we have today. They discovered that stuff intuitively, and through ages and ages of research, intuitive research and actual practical application, they refined it and discovered, what that really is.
Now
And
they're
now
saying the
science is starting
vortexes
to.
and
Well, no, like
energy work,
even like knowing where
muscle
to
testing.
where to hunt and where to find water sources. Like that was like natural.
Yeah.
They,
So
they had it.
because they had the energy.
Yeah,
they
had it.
had that skill set.
They knew where to go. It was like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had that ability. Yeah.
And
kinda
as we
went away from it.
started to rely more on technology and things outside of ourselves, that's when we started to lose as a people. That's when we started to lose our ability to sense that and to really focus on that.
Okay, this brings us to such an important point here, and I'm so glad you're here to share this, because you not only have the skill set, but you get it and you can articulate it well. So the whole show we've been talking about is this dependence on technology, moving in the direction where it's taking over to the level of addiction level of almost epidemic levels
Yeah.
of from everything you could possibly think of. So here we are moving in this direction as a society, but yet that means we're moving farther away from things that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with that too.
And so you're saying that we don't need technology. We can rely on our own ability and skill set and senses and developing that and be more effective than technology.
We can, yes, but the issue is we have to balance because we live in this society. We can't pretend that we don't. And there are certain technologies, if you want to reach certain goals, if you want to reach certain amount of people, like we're using technology right now,
Yeah,
because
right now.
if we have a message and we want to get it out, you have to use technology to do it because that's where everyone is.
Right.
So there's a
And
balancing
let's use our
act.
telepathy.
You can do that. You
Yeah.
can do that. But unfortunately, everyone's paying attention to technology, so they're not. Their antennas aren't up.
Yeah. see, that's what Riz Verk said. Riz Verk, I interviewed him. He was like, and he thinks we're all living in a video game. This is a simulation. But I said, well, why don't we just develop? Why do we have to go in this direction? Why don't we develop our instincts and our sensitivity skills? Because he says technology is more reliable than telepathy. But you're right.
It's actually not. But
it's not. But our antennas are not up, so
exactly.
we can't reach anybody.
Exactly. So I think it's twofold. Again, it's about balance. So I think that technology is a reality in our society right now, and that's just pretty much our society is centered around that. So we have to work through that a bit. But at the same time, it's good to use technology to then awaken the masses.
Okay.
And it's good to also get people, start to get off them.
You're Morpheus.
I am.
You're using the Matrix to pull people out of the Matrix.
Right. That's right. Unplug people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna unplug you. What is it? The blue pill or the red pill? I forgot which one.
The red pill.
Is it the red pill? Okay.
Typical woman, Matrix. It's a science fiction. They hate it. All right. So
I love science
hey,
fiction.
so-
really love
I'm
them?
huge on that.
Real quick, since we were talking earlier, and since we got Monica here, so what stuff in your phone you think you wouldn't want to get done?
What stuff in my
hand me your phone,
What's the
Monica.
question?
Hand me Monica's phone. I want to go through all the pictures.
Monica's Facebook page be popping.
Yeah, we were talking about if your phone got missing or lost, like what things you wouldn't want people to have. But I'm just messing with you.
Yeah,
that was the topic.
no,
of the
actually,
thing, so-
I don't keep anything crazy in my phone. There's tons of selfies and pictures of me at events and things like that. But all that stuff is online too. So I try not to use. I actually put my phone aside for several hours a day, and then sometimes for the entire day I'll just not even pay attention to it in order for me to be able to focus. Because also it's important to note that cell phones have a negative energy that comes from them. And for people who are sensitive to energy like me, I can feel it. I can't hold my cell phone for that long because I can feel that
It's gonna
energy.
get worse with 5G.
Yeah, no, it is.
yeah.
And Bluetooth technology is horrible for our bodies. It's horrible. So I have people who walk around with those earbuds on all day, and they walk
yes.
around with the Bluetooth technology on their wrists.
Yes.
It's actually damaging their energy system.
You know, I'm so glad you bring this up because I want to talk a couple of things, but I think we should emphasize this because this is so critical now because these are positive ions. We're being bombarded with positive ions, and that's why when you go like to the beach or out to nature with your bare feet, you get the negative ions from Earth, and it kind of neutralizes all this buildup of this positive. When they say positive, negative, it's not like happy or good. It's just positive ions, right? And so, so here it is. You're saying we have to be very careful now because we're being inundated with these positive ions that are very harmful to us unless we're detoxing ourselves or what?
Yeah, it's important to do a social media detox. A lot of people right now, I've seen on social media and through my friends, a lot of people are doing the Daniel's diet right now. I don't know if you've heard of that.
What is that?
It's from the Bible. It's you're basically just eat fruits and vegetables for like a month, and then you also give up something. But a lot of people that I've spoken to are giving up social media.
Oh wow!
Yeah, as they're it's kind of like Lent. It's kind of like Lent, but
I've seen it's like the Daniel fast. I've seen.
Yeah, the Daniel fast. Yeah, and so a lot of people are doing that right now. That's kind of a big thing. And they're giving up social media. And I think it's important to not just do that once a year, but to do that once a month or some type
every
of more
other
frequent,
month or every quarter. Or
yeah,
something.
some kind of more frequent regimen.
Really? What are you gonna give up, Tim?
Oh,
the Pornhub?
Come on, man. Come on now. But Tim, that's Tim Ray's.
I'm going to slowly step away from this conversation.
That's Tim Ray's deal. No, actually, you know, I don't have a problem giving up things. I mean, I went without meat for 6 months, you know, stuff like that. I don't eat bacon anymore. I gave that up. I love bacon. Pepperoni.
I can't give up bacon.
I can't give up bacon.
I have to tell you something. I went vegan, but I called myself a vegan because I couldn't give up bacon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, like people like Teal,
give up stuff.
people like Teal Swan will say, and you know, I think she has some evidence behind it too, is that to really embrace your ascension and your spiritual nature of who you are, and as you're growing into, she says a more of a vegan diet actually helps you ascend quicker through that process than the lower density of meats and things like that. What's your take?
Well, it's true. However, some people, and I found out that I'm one of those people. Some people actually, your physical body needs animal protein instead of plant protein. That's not the majority of people. The majority of people can have a vegan diet and be fine. But I found out that I was one of those people that needed, because I'm also a medical intuitive, and I started having issues with my shoulder. And I was wondering what was causing that. And as I tuned in, I realized, you know, that my body was like, we need animal protein. Because I was actually adding more plant protein, but it wasn't enough. And so so that's what I found out. And then I Googled it because I was like, is that true? And then I found out it was true. So I got confirmation.
So so we have to head out here in a minute, but real quick here, another question. I want people to know how to reach you and everything. But what 3 things you could give people advice right now to enhance more of their sensitivity to who they are and less dependent on technology?
So one is to start meditating. That is the key, because that's really what starts to open up your channels and what really starts to get you back in tune with yourself. It's important to be in tune with your soul, because your soul is supposed to be running the ship. Unfortunately, our conscious ego is what usually runs the ship, and it should be a symbiotic process. They're supposed to work together, but that's not what happens for most people. So meditation is one thing. Another way is just really, really tuning in to your ancestors, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, whatever you want to call them, God, and really, really start receiving that guidance. But the important thing is when you receive guidance and messages, intuitive thoughts, intuitive feelings, that you follow it. You have to listen to it. And then you have to take action on it, right? Because if you don't, because if you don't do that, then it's just wasted messages. You're just getting messages and you're not doing anything about it. And then you end up having more issues in life, and really starting to get away from technology as much as you can, while still understanding that we do live in a world where technology is necessary right now in order to function in the society. But, you know, try to have a limited,
balance it out. Yeah. You know, it's all moderation, isn't it? So Monica, people reach you again because you're a fascinating woman. Tell us how we could reach you.
Yes, you can reach me at monicabay.com, and also follow me on all social media at The Real Monica Bay. Also, regarding my event that I have coming up this Saturday, go to monicabay.com/event and get your ticket.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Guys, when we get back from this really quick break, 30 seconds, we're going to be doing our recap with Tim Owens and myself, and on our first debut with Tim on the Awaken Atlanta show.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Nice.
Yeah, right. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Goodwill Partners. Does your health really matter? Join Atlanta-based chiropractor and naturopath, Dr. Nelson Bulmash, as he takes a fresh look at today's most interesting health topics with functional medicine's leading doctors and experts. Learn how to feed your mind, exercise your body, and nurture your spirit in the way nature intended. Catch him live every other Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on WDJY 99.1 FM, on Facebook Live at United Intentions, and on the official United Intentions Spreaker channel. Consider your appointment with Dr. Bulmash booked, because your health matters.
Hey everyone, Monica Bay here, also known as the Healer in Heels, and I am so excited to bring to you a rare opportunity to experience a dynamic healing in person with me. I am here at Batch, where we are going to hold this event, and it is going to be amazing. During this 2-hour group healing, I am going to remove all those things that are holding you back in life, and then I'm going to set your energy to be in alignment for achieving your goals. I am a natural-born energy healer and psychic medium who has developed my gifts and magnified them over the past 25 years. This is a rare opportunity and space is limited. Hurry and get your tickets at the link below, because this event is sure to sell out. Get ready to go on a journey of transformation, and I will see you there.
Right, the Matrix.
All right, welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, your host, along with Tim Owens, my partner in crime today.
Howdy, howdy.
And yeah, Shannon will be back on Thursday. Tim and Shannon show will be back on Thursday. So hang in there. Tim, I just want to thank you for coming in at short notice and just filling in. Shannon's shoes aren't easy to fill.
Oh, not a problem. And you owe me a hot tub party, man. You ruined my night, man. I'm telling you, it's either that or Otis gonna have to referee. We got to have an old-fashioned wrestling match. Me and you, buddy. We're in the South. We got to say wrestling.
Well, I do have a hot tub, so I could probably work something out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is I just really love the show. What a great, and Otis, well done with the cybersecurity. I think it's something that we take for granted. I mean, I'm going to look at getting myself on this VPN thing done because I'm one of those vulnerable guys. I don't know what I'm doing, and it's sad and scary at the same time.
Yeah. I'm not. I get it. It's definitely something to really take into consideration, man. It really is.
But what about this? I love having Monica. My favorite part was having Monica on too as well, because she was the perfect balance. Because here we are, all this fear and the security and the New World Order and the monopolies. But really it boils down to we have the power within ourselves to change anything.
We'll talk about it Friday. She'll be on my show Friday. So.
Oh, yeah. What are you guys going to be talking about?
We're going to get into it, man. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So, tune in. One World, UI Media.
You got
Monica Bay, she will be in the house. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
man.
Robert said, gosh, she's so beautiful. And we had a lot of comments here, guys, too. God said, I love my spiritual team. Cheryl said, that was for Stacy. And also, I think... I think Robert also said, or no, Billy said a recap. Here it is. I was looking for that. All right, here's Billy's recap. You ready?
Okay.
You might as well go ahead and accept that everything you do on your phones or computers is being looked at by someone. AI is our new planet, our new parent. Thank you, Tim Owens, for filling in for Shannon. We hope she gets well soon. She will. Good job. Good recap. You want to do Stacy's recap?
Stacy's.
Can you see it?
No, I can't. I don't see it here.
All right, I got it. I'll read it here. First, I want to say, too, is Nanda says, great show today. Great job, Timo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You got some new Awaken Atlanta fans here.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, you guys. Thanks for watching.
All right, Stacey says here, what does your phone say about you? Are you being safe on the internet? Yes. Are we being listened to by Big Brother? Has been invited into our homes with open arms. God, isn't that scary? It's a scary thought. Tim Owens did a great job filling in for Shannon. Get better soon, Shannon. We love you. Monica is amazing and beautiful. Welcome to the week of Monica Bay. Yeah, right?
Check it out.
I agree. Good job, Stacy. But, what was your favorite part of the show today?
I'm
waking up at 4:30 in the morning.
Well, you're gonna take care of me on that one. No, I like Monica as always, but Pete was great too, man.
Yeah,
good. Some really good information, man. I mean, I gotta say that
you don't say it's a full-time industry now. Is security? It really is. I mean, not just cybersecurity alone, right? But just security in general. And there's something between changing off or trading off our freedoms for security. And I tell you what, I'd almost rather be in more of an unsecure world, but having my freedoms.
Yeah. Because see, I worked at a nuclear power plant for 7 years, so
Oh, God.
I understand even more how why they was IT was like anything people try to access stuff and they will call you on the phone. Hey, what's going on? Where you? And you get it now. You look at a nuclear power plant gets hacked, man. It's millions of lives.
Oh,
So
yeah.
some people didn't really understand it then, but Pete even just put more icing on the cake. Like, oh, I understand a little bit more why they were that.
And it's amazing that we're so vulnerable. And so if we're being bled, our country's like being sucked energy from a vampire, whatever international hands are stealing the cookies from the cookie jar here. The day when we're not needed anymore, we don't serve a purpose for these people, is a day that we self-destruct or we destroyed. So things may seem fine now, but until we take our power back, and I don't think we take our power back just on a collective level. I think we have to take our power back on an individual level first, like Monica Bay's talking about. We take our power back and realize that we are multidimensional beings, and we could change whatever we really want to change within ourselves. It affects what happens outside of ourselves.
And you don't always have to buy in.
Yeah.
Where people say you don't have to buy in. Some things, if they come out with a new gadget, a new product, you don't automatically just have to get it. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm fine with this.
Right.
Like this one still works. This is still, good. So I think that's what we got to stop that too. So
well, guys, we got some solutions. Go within yourself, meditate, and focus on what you can control within you, and then watch your outside world change. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Tim, thank you for coming in and filling in, and I really appreciate that. And Otis, great job. Wahid, thank you as well. Guys, we have another show coming on Thursday. Shannon will be back in action, and it's going to blow your mind. Yeah, and you know what the topic is on Thursday, Otis?
Yeah, I just want to plug it in. It's going to be about sex trafficking. We have a former call girl.
So I missed
coming
another
in.
one.
Yeah.
I missed another show.
Yeah, she sent me the questions that we can't ask, but we can pretty much ask her pretty much anything.
All right, you got it. Well, guys, check out Sex Trafficking on Thursday. Don't miss that show. Put that in your calendar right now. Remind you to wake up with us 6:30 in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're live on FM radio 99.1 5 days a week. So, guys, until then, be cool and secure your phones.
You've been listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day. Catch us live Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spreaker at UI Media Network. Have any questions you'd like to ask our team? Or maybe you'd like to say hello? Write to us at awakenatlanta@uimedianetwork.org and get a chance to be featured on our show. Until next time, live life with intent and have a great rest of your day. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.